Good evening, all you Style Esports fans out there, and welcome to our Ionian semifinals between Hail of Spades and the Sand Ninjas. This is the first of the two semifinals, the other being Imperial Knights Blue versus the Syndicate, which will take place tomorrow evening. But today it is Hail of Spades and the Sand Ninjas getting out of the rift for us for the semifinal. I am Jarl Carl, bringing you these games alongside my color caster for the evening. It's Baymax.
What's up, everybody? Should be a good one. Like my esteemed colleague here, Carl, just said. We got a semifinals going on. It's Ionia. We got Sand Ninjas versus Hail of Spades. Each of these teams trying to fight for a place to potentially go ahead and take on Imperial Knights Blue in the finals. They are our, first seed at the current moment.
Or the Syndicate.
Or the Syndicate, it's true. Or the Syndicate, but it's gonna be the Imperial Knights. We'll see. We'll see. I think anything could happen. We're getting into this draft. This game has been pro-drafted already, so these picks are not organic. They are coming in the draft order, not necessarily how they were actually drafted, but as opposed to Corvus' top lane. So he's picking his top laner. A bit of a shame, by the way. The Swain got banned away. Corvus is that Swain top one-trick pony. I'm a little sad to see that one go, Carl.
Yeah, but he's on Ornn, so it can't be that hard, right? That champion is a little bit too good. We got Ornn and Maokai in the top lane, so don't worry. Nobody's going to die up there tonight. No fear for that. Tanks in the jungle, too, so tank meta still very much in force. We are not on the new patch, of course. That comes out tomorrow, so we are still on the previous one, 10.12. I believe no buffs or nerfs coming through for this one, so Aphelios still pretty good. Yumi's still pretty good. That got banned out in this game, which makes sense. Don't want that enlightened cat on the rift. She can do a lot of damage and a lot of healing and a lot of everything, and you can't hit her, so definitely going to be wanting to ban that one away. And yeah, we should get through these relatively quickly. It's pro draft, so hopefully they remember what they're supposed to be banning, and we can see some more picks.
So I wanna quickly talk about what Hail of Spades has drafted so far. They've drafted very comfort. Corvus had a Swain banned away, and that's sort of his signature comfort pick. So unfortunately for him, maybe not as comfort. Although, like you mentioned, Ornn not that hard to play. Zac and Zoe for Nico and Yunjia. These are these players' quintessential champions. We see them on them over and over and over again. I don't want to say Nico is a Zoe one trick, but definitely has a lot of practice on that champion under his belt. Same with Yunjia, right? Zac is potentially his favorite champion to play in the entire game. So definitely excited to see those champions, but the challenge becomes not only drafting comfort, but also making a cohesive team comp out of that. And the Ezreal Nautilus, I think, definitely has a lot of strengths here to round out the team comp for Hail of Spades. I'm liking it a lot. Ezreal is in a very strong spot at the current moment, and also a champion that Alaphorus likes to play. He's got a lot of practice on it.
Absolutely, and Ezreal is probably the best AD carry now, especially without Aphelios in the game. Certainly in a better place than Kai'Sa, who often I think finds herself with range problems, and she should be in range of people this game, just because she is up against that big frontline Nautilus, Zac, Ornn. But she often finds herself just a little bit too close to the enemy. She takes a lot of damage, just kind of naturally. She'll probably get hit by Zac, probably get hit by Ornn. Isn't able to stay safe in the backline like something like a Vayne is, or a Caitlyn with the extra range or the extra tumbling. She kind of has that one dash of the ultimate, but I think she'll have a little bit of trouble doing damage. Also interesting to note, Hecarim kind of destroyed Hail of Spades in one of their series in these regular season games. One of their game threes, Hecarim just kind of popped off. That was Ginja Ninjas Hecarim. So
oh my god, more than once.
Against them.
More than once. Ginja Ninjas Hecarim is actually pretty nutty. And I, like you said, not only is the Hecarim pick strong, has a lot of potential to pop off, a lot of potential to run over a backline like a Zoe and an Ezreal, but got the Orianna ball, right? Got that shockwave, got the ball delivery system built into his kit. That is a very strong 2 versus 2. That's a pretty strong initiation, a pretty good way to get the team fight started off. That being said, look at the front line the Hail of Spades have. Look at the tank line. Like, there's really only Nico and Alaphorus that can be jumped on. Otherwise, it's Pogs, it's Yunjia, it's Corvus. These guys are going to be hard to kill.
Yeah, Hecarim is not going to be killing them anytime soon. On the other hand, Ezreal is a little bit safer of a pick than Misfortune, which was the last effort up against Hecarim. So I think Ezreal should be able to keep himself safe, especially if he goes for that Gauntlet build, which has been very popular. I would expect him to do so, although there's not a lot of physical damage, but I think it's really just kind of the standard at this point. So look to see that coming through. For Alaphorus, I think he'll be able to survive a little bit longer than on the Misfortune. Zoe and Ezreal a little bit more mobile than the Orianna Misfortune situation that we saw previously. So I think Hecarim will have a little bit more trouble, even if he gets ahead, just because there is so much frontline to stop him. Ornn can knock him up, Zach can knock him up, Nautilus, Depth Charge, the Root from the auto attack as well. So he has that one ultimate that can block the CC when he goes unstoppable. But after that, I would expect him to kind of get crowd controlled down. So unless he's crazily far ahead, I'm not too sure how effective these engages are going to be.
Yeah, that's definitely worth mentioning, right? You're trying to engage. If you're Sand Ninjas, you're trying to engage into an Ezreal, but if you're Hail Spades, you're trying to engage into a Lulu and a Maokai. Like that's not easy. You were talking about that, and so I think the solution here for Halo Spades team comp, they have a lot of engaged tools, but they don't need them. Right, especially if Alaphorus does get ahead, or even if he doesn't. They've got Alaphorus on an Ezreal, Nico on Zoe. Both those champions scale very well, have a lot of zone control, and have a lot of poke. Have a lot of poke that is difficult to deal with if you're a team that doesn't have that heavy of a front line. It's really only Isuck on the Maokai. No one else on Sand Ninjas is very tanky, can soak up all that poke. So, if you don't have a front line or you don't have healing and sustain to deal with that poke, then it might become. I can see a world where Sand Ninjas, they don't get engaged on, but they just get outpoked by Halo Spades, and they're forced to give up objectives just because they can't walk into an Ezreal and a Zoe.
The poke is quite strong, and there's also that kind of threat of an engage, right? If you step too far forward, you might get Call of the Forge God, you might get jumped on by Zach, you might get hit by a dredge line from Nautilus. So I think Sand Ninjas could find themselves in a situation, kind of like you were just saying, where they can't really step up to fight because they'll just get engaged on, but they can't not do that because they're just getting poked out. So I think if the Halo Spades team comp gets rolling, they could be pretty unstoppable in this game. The Dragon Soul might matter as well. If a couple of Ocean Dragons end up in the pocket of the Sand Ninjas, that could be good, just for a little bit more regeneration to stop the poke. Whereas like that Infernal Soul could be really key this game for Halo Spades if that's what comes out, just because they will augment that poke from Zoe and Ezreal in addition to just being a very strong soul, getting a lot of damage. So I think the Dragons will be something key to watch in this game.
All right, we're going to go to a quick break before this game starts. While we load into it, don't go anywhere. You'll be right back.
Welcome back, everybody. We are now on to the Rift for game number 1 here between Halo Spades on the blue side and the Sand Ninjas on the red side. 30 seconds in to this game. A little bit of a adventure going on here by the Sand Ninjas. Might run into each other here in the jungle. I'm Jarl Carl alongside Baymax.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
We're not going to say fight. I was getting all dramatic. I was holding my breath, but
I was holding it
no
too, but
Baymax is here, everybody. I promise. But
I am.
The word's done, and everybody walks out.
Looks like nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Welcome. Like you mentioned, we're getting into the game here. We're on the Rift. Halo Spades versus Sand Ninjas. Remember, this is the Ionia group semifinals. The second place team versus the third place team. Whichever team ends up winning this is going to go on to the finals. That is what semifinals means. So you're welcome for explaining that to you. I'm sure you didn't know. This is a pretty high stakes game, right? This is a pretty big deal. These teams trying to fight to maybe win the finals, maybe even get themselves up to that relegation match versus Shurima and move up a group, right? This is fairly high stakes. So these guys definitely got a lot in line here. I was talking to you a little bit about these drafts. I want to get into what these players have picked. Halo Spades, Comfort, down the line, Ionia, Nico, Alaphorus, Pogs, all on picks that they are comfortable on, that they like. I'm not convinced that this is a cohesive enough team comp to get control of the game early on versus what the Sand Ninjas are trying to do. And I think Halo Spades have bottlenecked themselves into a comp that is a little bit more difficult to pull off, specifically because I think that their only avenue to get anything done early is really the mid lane. And even that is not great because Hitter Up critically took cleanse for Nico. We can talk about this a little bit more. I want to get your opinion on everything I just said, but I'll break down a little bit more in a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, comfort picks are always important to have, right, when you're, in such a competitive game, but I think it is also important to make sure that your team app still works together, and I do agree. I think this comp is a little bit questionable in the cohesion standpoint. I do want to mention the bot lane briefly, just since we are on this right now. The Halo Spades bot lane had the leash, and the Sand Ninjas bot lane did not. And that let the Sand Ninjas get this massive shove in the bot lane, no level 2, anything going on. I think that was one of the main points of power for Halo Spades in this lane to try to go. That's a good hook, actually, landing onto Sleepy Giant Panda. But that level 2, level 1 difference was not ever available for them in this lane just because they had the leash. So they've lost a lot of tempo in this bot lane. They're going to be down in the push probably for a decent while, while Black and Sleepy Giant Panda have that shove in. So I think that also, stymies their early game even more. But I do agree. I think the early game is just a little bit weak for Halo Spades. There's just not a lot of potential to make some plays. You're really going to gank a Maokai. That doesn't seem great. Hard to gank mid, especially with all that cleanse is still up. Even if you do land to sleep, that can just get cleansed away. So Halo Spades, I think, need to, at least not fall behind and look carefully, maybe try to steal a dragon and grab something else across the map.
Alaphorus, you're dropping low.
Yeah, bot lane not doing so well. Alaphorus very low. Has to use the potion already. He has exhaust, so there's no heal if the fight comes through. They are in a bad spot after only 2 minutes in this lane.
Well, this is not entirely unexpected. Lulu Kaisa, we talked about this a little bit. In my opinion, Lulu is really obnoxious, and I think Lulu Kaisa should definitely win this lane. It can go the other way if Pogs makes some clutch plays, and he is sort of a playmaking style support. Pogs basically only plays supports that are playmaking. He stays away almost entirely from enchanters, except for Bard, who is a massive playmaker. But the sort of non-playmaking enchanters, things like Soraka or Lulu, not going to touch it. Let's shift focus to the jungle. You mentioned Ionia and where he'd want to go. I think that if you're Halo Spades, you're just trying to survive through this early game. Ionia's role is probably not to gank too much, except for maybe mid lane, but mostly to just make sure his lanes stay alive. Try to track Cyclops, figure out where he is, keep him from getting stuff done early, because like you said, can't really gank the bot lane. Even with a Zac, where's the damage going to come from early? You're not likely to get a kill onto Sleepy Giant Panda or Black, and if Cyclops shows up, you lose that 3v3 for sure. Top lane as well. What are you going to do? Kill a Maokai with an Ornn and a Zac? Maybe. That seems a little high risk. Like, where's the damage going to come from? Mid lane, you do have a Zoe to set up for you, which is awesome. That is good, but Hitter Up has cleanse, which makes that Sleepy Trouble Bubble so much harder to actually land and make stick. So I think that was super smart from Hitter Up. I really like the cleanse, and Ionia might find himself just sort of not really knowing where to go. Now looking bot lane, another dredge line. Pog's taking so much damage.
Pog's taking a lot of damage. Double exhausts have come down. Both AD carries affected by that summoner spell. So nobody dies, but exhausts traded back in the bot lane. Lapras and Pog's really on the back foot so far. Ionia has arrived though. Sleepy Giant Panda now going to have to run for their life. Not too sure if the slingshot is available for him. Here it comes. Going to be flashed away from by Sleepy Giant Panda. Ionia, nice dredge line. But the stretching strike is going to be used to flip him back. The shield comes through as well. Engaged by Lapras going forward with the arcane shift, but Giant Panda blocking for his AD carry, and they do escape. Both flashes burn though to the bot lane of SN.
Yeah, both flashes burned does potentially change things. Might want to look for the re-engage if you are Ionia, and he is looking. Flash dredge line gonna miss.
There it is over the wall. Black going so low. Will he get taken down? The flash auto attack by Lapras is going to be picking up that kill, but he is going to fall in return to Sleepy Giant Panda and one tower shot. Pog's going very low as well. Flash into the turret in the top lane. Corvus might go down to that. Not going to take another shot. He survives. Flash is traded in the top lane and kills traded in the bottom.
Oh, call the forge guy's not done yet.
Under the turret, Isock solo. There's the engager of the tower. Can he pick up the kill? No, he can't. Isock picks up the kill onto Corvus, and he got level 6. He almost baited himself into dying there under the tower.
There is the only word to describe that is greedy. Corvus, you were fine. You won the trade. You could have shoved that wave under turret. Forced TP, had TP advantage. You don't gotta do that. Shifting back to the bot side of the map, I want to point out something. Not only... Okay, the kill did go over to Lapras, right? Lapras got a kill. Sleepy Giant Panda got the other kill. So on paper, ADC versus support, you want the ADC to have the kill. That's a good thing. But in the bot side there, Spades' lane was pushing, slow pushing into Sandage's turret basically that entire time. Black didn't miss hardly any minions for dying there. Lapras ended up missing like 2 or 3 waves. So the experience difference is big. Now shifting over to the Dragon, it's Black who has the level lead. Dredge line onto Cyclops.
Coming in, that jungler taken out straight away at the start of this fight. I was almost going to cut you off and say this doesn't look good for the Spades, but it turns out it does work out quite well. That teleport, there was still a teleport advantage. Corvus had not used that. Back to the top lane, brings himself down to the bot lane, gets killed for his team, and the Dragon goes over.
Dragon going over, definitely a good sign, especially when your bot lane started off with no pressure. Now looking mid lane, hit her up, forced to flash out.
Has to use that summoner to get away. Gonna still take a decent chunk of damage. That flash picked up by Nico. He's saying, hey, I'll take that. Thanks for the loan on that one. Still has the cleanse though for future ganks, although depending on how early he uses that, depending, when he knows that he's actually being ganked versus just traded on, may still go down to Ionia. So another summoner blown in the mid lane, and Spades kind of picking it back up after those first couple minutes of faltering.
Yeah, and Rift Herald about to spawn on the map too might present a better opportunity for them even than Dragon, right? Because down in the bot lane, Lapras and Pogs didn't really get pressure. They did get some help from Ionia, which was awesome. And ended up working out very, very well, potentially because of some over-aggression from Sleepy Panda and Black. Now looking towards the top side of the map, same thing happened mid, right? Hit her up, got ganked by Ionia, lost the flash, is going to be a lot less safe for any coming fights, any coming skirmishes. So this might end up giving Spades the pressure they need to sort of continue their attack on the map and try to take that Rift Herald away from the Sand Ninjas.
Cyclops has had a pretty kind of just non-existent early game. To my mind, he hasn't really made any ganks. Work hasn't really made any ganks. Not Work, just hasn't really ganked. Died around the Dragon. A nice dredge line from Pogs did spell his doom, but the Tech Ram is something, he is level 6 now. We look for it to have a lot of impact. I think he needs to make this first ultimate work to, not really justify the pick, but just to have some kind of impact in this early game. The objectives are being controlled by Spades so far. We'll see when they move up toward the Herald, but so far Cyclops has just pretty much been a non-factor this game.
I would agree with that. Top lane might say gank. I don't think Isock is in any danger of dying here, but I could be wrong.
He's going pretty low pretty quickly. No flash. That was burned earlier. Aegis Grasp goes down. He might keep himself alive for quite a while longer. Call the Forge God does come out this advance to try to buy a bit of distance. Ionia almost going to get thrown into that passive, but in the end of the day, not going to work out. Isock goes down.
Yeah, he's pretty far forward, and this is the opportunity Spades are going to need to hop onto that Herald, but Cyclops not looking to let it go down for nothing. Going to go ahead and gank bot lane.
We see a fight in the bot lane. Sleepy Giant Panda has used the wild growth on himself. Exhaust goes down onto Pogs as well. Cyclops is here. Is the arcane shift available? Uses it backwards. The kill does go over. The support is down. Killer Instinct by Black, though, going straight into the backline, picking up the kill onto Lapras. Pogs now trying to run himself out of this one. Nico has arrived on the scene to ensure that his support is safe. And all ends well. One kill on each side.
One kill on each side, but Herald about to go over to Spades. I want to go back to the point about Cyclops earlier on, because I think you're right. I think Cyclops he's got to find a way to have more of an impact. And specifically, maybe that window was already gone for Sand Ninjas, because in my opinion, there's no way Halo Spades should have been allowed to have as much control over the map early as they did. No way their bot lane should have been allowed to get as aggressive and have Yunjia find that gank. Like I said, if Yunjia's bot lane and Cyclops' bot lane, Yunjia engages, that's definitely a 3v3 that Sand Ninjas win. But guess what? Yunjia was there for like 60 seconds, ganked, reganked, and Cyclops nowhere to be found farming his camps, and I think that was a mistake. And I think that Cyclops starting to get back on the map. I like the look bot lane there to punish Halo Spades for taking that Rift Herald away. I think it was a good read. I think the Cyclops knew Halo Spades were going to go for that objective and punished him by a gank bot lane. Maybe a little bit of a misstep by Giant Panda to die before he got there. A little bit unfortunate, but well played by Halo Spades to trade that kill back. Now Isuck did get punished top lane as well, but again, this is sort of the tank 1v1 matchup. It doesn't really matter if any one of them gets a lead. They're just going to be sort of wet noodle fighting each other this whole time.
Absolutely. Hecarim is just not a champion. We see a hook in the bot lane, actually. Always hard to tell how much is going to come from these hooks, because there is so much shielding on Sleepy Giant Panda. But Hecarim's just not a jungler that you really think of as a big farming jungler, right? It's, you know, he's not the kind of character that wants to get ADCS and then do his first gank. You know, he's not there to farm just like a Nunu or something. He just kind of sits there and farms, whatever. He wants to gank, and so far, you know, he had one gank in the bot lane. It was still only a 1-for-1, and I think he really just needs to get going when his ultimate's back up again. I would like to see a gank in the mid lane against Nico. I think that could have a lot of impact. We're going to see a fight in the bot lane, however. There's the depth charge goes down onto Black. They're going to turn the focus onto Sleepy Giant Panda. He's going to be falling as well. Lapras, one more Q should take him down. Black goes down from that one. There's a cleanse on the Sleepy Trouble bubble, but it might not be enough. Hit her up in a lot of trouble on this one. Shockwave to try to buy a bit of time, but it's not going to be enough. Nico picks up that kill. 3 kills go in favor of Halo Spades.
And Halo Spades absolutely running the map. They're sort of cementing themselves as the Sand Ninjas killers here, making me eat my words about the team comp differences. Although I will say, comfort, definitely a very, very, very powerful trait when trying to gauge how well team comp is going to work out for players. Comfort is maybe the #1 most important thing to look for above meta. So that being said, it's not like these picks aren't meta. Halo Spades have drafted meta picks. The Zoe, the Ezreal, these are very strong champions. I think that when you're talking about meta picks, like even more than meta, these are hard champions to make happen. These are hard. There's sort of the highest skill ceiling for this team. But Halo Spades, they have that comfort. They have that skill, and they're definitely looking to exert it here. Now I'm moving the dragon. Teleport from behind from Isuck. This one's not going away for free.
Corvus does not have teleport. It's up in just a few seconds. The dragon is going to go over for free, but they might get taken down in the exchange. Cyclops not going for the fight. There's a teleport from Corvus, but it is just going to be a little bit too late. Black Master has already picked up the kill on the AD carry. Fog is going to be soon to follow as well. Corvus finds himself in a 1 versus 5, trying to save his jungler with that knockup. Black going very low. He might get taken out. No killer instinct available still. He's going to be just fine. That's 4 kills in favor of the Sand Ninjas. They lose the dragon, but they win the fight.
Picks there to save the day for Black. So much shielding coming through from Giant Panda, and the dive, you can see right there, the dive from Halo Spades so far, not enough. I think they're getting a little bit too over aggressive. They feel like they're in the driver's seat because they got these leads, but you gotta chill out a little bit, right? Lapras is not that strong yet. He's got his Mana Moon completed, but still stacking. He's sitting on a Sheen with nothing else. So as far as stats go, Lapras still got a ways to go before he's really pumping out damage. Same thing with everybody else, right? Everyone else is a tank. Nico did finish his first item, but it's a proto belt, which, you know, it's good for one-shotting one person. Team fighting, Zoe, not so much, right? You want to look for poke. You want to look for slow fights. You don't want to look to all in and just hard engage on the back line. She wants to poke as much as she can and make those fights last as long as she can. Same thing with the Lapras. So Halo Spades, they just went a little bit too hard, a little bit too fast. And Sand Ninjas, they fought back. They lost the dragon, but they won the fight in a big way. And now the gold lead in this game for the first time is actually swung in Sand Ninja's favor by just a little bit. It's basically dead even, but Sand Ninjas, it's looking like they're not going to go down without a fight here. They're going to take Halo Spades. They're going to make work for it.
Absolutely. That teleport on Corvus was just, you know, I don't know if they would have won the fight if he'd been there straight away from the start on that one, but about, you know, somewhere between 5 and 10 seconds when that dragon went down, and made a lot of difference, right? He kind of teleported into a 1 versus 5 and just found himself falling. Maybe it would have been better to save it at that point, just kind of say, hey, we got the dragon, we lost 3 kills, but, you know, we got the dragon at least. We have 2 of them now. It's going to be a Cloud Soul, Cloud Rift coming down, so some more ultimates up for these characters when they start stacking those. We'll see if they're able to continue their march toward the soul. Halo Spades typically have pretty good dragon control, and they're kind of continuing that in this game. Cyclops might be paying a visit to the bot lane. Alafra is trying to force him off there. As,
oh, they're gonna go for a dive here, Carl. Maybe not, actually. Maybe not.
might just get some try. Pretty hard to dive. The Nautilus, of course, you can get knocked up under the turret, exhaust ready as well. So I think they'll just settle for some Krugs and back off for now. I'm a little surprised we haven't seen very many mid lane ganks. We mentioned that earlier. We wanted to see that. Just haven't seen anything in the mid lane. Although I might be about to eat my words. Slypot's walking up there.
Well, yeah, here we go. Cyclops looking for the game right now.
Yeah, he's going in. The stolen spike goes down. There is the Onslaught of Shadows. Ignite traded back from that one. Nico trying to get himself away with a bit of speed from the W, but Hitter Up is going to pick up the kill with the Shockwave. Great job saving that for the end. Nico goes down.
I'm glad you pointed that out, and I'm glad Cyclops delivered. Right? I was hyping this up so much in Champs, like how strong the Orianna Hecarim 2 versus 1 is, or even the 2v2, right? The ball delivery on the Onslaught of Shadows, so strong. And Hitter Up demonstrating that with a nice shock, but now under turret. Hitter Up taking some damage, forced to flash.
Yeah, Drew tower aggro there, not probably what he was hoping for, but it does work out for him in the end. Does have to use the summoner though, which is, it always hurts a little bit when you kind of feel like, oh, I'm fine, and then, oh, I'm taking the tower, I gotta flash away from that one. So a little bit bittersweet at the end of that gank, but nice play by Yunji, trying to hold the wave a little bit, gets the flash out, and both mid laners kind of take a reset now and come back with even more damage.
All right. Both AD carries. Ooh, Dread's bot lane. I don't think anything's gonna come out of this. Black look for the back line. He's looking for
Black going straight into this one. There's the killer instinct to dodge away from the two-shot barrage, doing so much damage. Alafra's the exhaust goes down, but it might be too late. He's gonna be keeping himself alive. Pogs very low as well. The shielding coming through from Sleepy Giant Panda is just huge. Alafra's could be going into this fight. There is the E4. Picks up the one kill on a Sleepy Giant Panda. Black runs away by the skin of his teeth. He survives this fight. What an engage in the bot lane.
such a close fight. Alafra was, what, 100, 200 HP from going down. Conqueror healing, just taking him up so quick. And I think that's sort of the difference in items between these AD carries. We're just going to talk about it. Black sitting on that Mana Moon. Alafra on it as well, but a Sheen to boot means that Alafra is potentially a little bit stronger in the 1v1 right now. When strictly in a vacuum, looking at the AD carry strength levels, I think Alafra wins, and you see it there. But now looking towards the top side of the map, we got a Herald spawned up. Yunji starting it up, but Cyclops, he is hanging around. A mid pressure for Halo Spades, top lane pressure for Sand Ninjas. This could be an interesting skirmish.
A bit of a Herald Nance going on, being taken pretty low here by Halo Spades, although Cyclops has arrived. There's an Nature's Grasp by Isaac, going to try to force on this Herald. It might have just been leashed here by Halo Spades. They also might want to fight. There's the engage coming in. The red team has picked up the Herald. Jungler going very low as well. Yunji going to heal up quite a lot, though, from those blocks. Blood Spots coming through. Cyclops going to be taken down. He is going to be followed by his top laner, and 2 kills go in favor of Halo Spades. It seems like neither of these teams can secure an objective and win a fight.
But you know what? Oh, that was a nice shockwave, a little bit of damage down, but eating a bubble for it. There's no cleanse. He might be dead.
He just goes down straight away under the tower. Sleepy Giant Panda can't get anything to save him. No cooldowns available. Did have Wild Growth, actually, so tell a lie on that one. Just didn't use that one, so mid laner is going to go down, and that's when the Dragon up as well, Baymax. They're going to be starting up their third of the game.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, that was hugely favorable to Halo Spades, right? They didn't get the Herald, but honestly, who cares? It's second Herald. There's no turret place to get. You might be able to break open first turret, but guess what? First turret's already gone down. Getting a mid lane turret is nice, but you know what's nicer, Carl? Winning the fights and getting your third dragon of the game, threatening that soul point. So, Halo Spades definitely looking to be in a strong spot. I think they outscale as well. And like I mentioned before, Alafra ahead of the curve on Black is going to have that Mana Moon stacked pretty soon as well. 636 stacks as opposed to 529 on Black. So going to hit some of these item specs a little bit earlier. I don't know. I think Halo Spades are in a very strong spot. This is the best of 3, but keep in mind, Sand Ninjas are seeded higher, 2nd to 3rd seed. But last time these teams met, it was Halo Spades that came out on top.
Absolutely, 2-0 in that game. So Halo Spades is really doing very well against the Sand Ninjas so far here in Season 3 of Style Esports. And playing a pretty clean game so far. They are only up, 500 gold, but it just feels like they're in so much control of this map. We're going to see Alafra and Pogs now up against the Uber Tank at the top lane. This could be quite a long fight, as Isaac so far has lost about 20% of his HP, and that's going to be called off as Sleepy Giant Panda and Black are arriving on this one. There's the killer instinct forward by Black, doing so much aggression in this game. He might pay for it with his life. The True Shot Barrage is going to shut him down. Corvus has arrived in the backline as well. Going to knock up Cyclops, trying to interrupt this Hecarim. Isaac can use Twisted Advance in the flash over the wall to get himself out. Onslaught of Shadows as well to escape for Cyclops. So everybody gets out for Sand Ninjas. They leave Black behind, and they lose the fight.
Lose the fight, a little bit of overcommit there. I think Isaac had the right idea going back in, but Black was just a little too over aggressive. Now Sleepy Giant Panda, recall interrupted, might be in trouble under this turret. Elastic Slingshot gonna go down.
Likely is going to die here. Has Flash and Exhaust, but I just don't feel like he can get away from this one. There's the call of the Forge God. Sleepy Giant Panda uses his Flash. Lapper's going to have the Arcane Shift available in just a second. There's the E-Shield. So Sleepy Giant Panda, I tell a lie, actually going to be okay. Cyclops body blocking for him. Almost pays for it with his life. But they do escape, but this tower's going to go down regardless. And Yunji may have disconnected again. He's just, yeah, that's going to be the, there's the pause coming through. Yunji kind of just hanging out, getting hit up by Isaac.
I don't know if okay is the word I would use to describe Sleepy Giant Panda. He got out, he lived, but he was hurting and ended up burning Flash burn from Isaac as well. Sanding just definitely on the receiving end on the worst end of that trade. We have gone into a pause here, so we're gonna bring it to a quick break while we get this pause sorted out. But when we come back, we will have the rest of game number 1 between the Sanders and Halo Spades, and hopefully an exciting game 2 and maybe even a game 3. Stick around, don't go anywhere.
Welcome back, everybody. We are out of the pause and straight into a gank in the mid lane. Black could be going down here. Knight goes down, doesn't even need the True Shot Barrage. No heal used. 80 carry for the Sand Ninjas, finds himself in the Death Chamber.
Now 2,000 gold lead for Halo Spades, but it feels like significantly more, right? Got those nice dragon stats stacking up. Also just the natural scaling of an Ezreal and everything else, right? Corvus and Nico especially. These are champions that definitely tend to do well as the game goes on. And I think we talked about it a little bit during the break. Halo Spades definitely in a very strong spot to be this ahead this early, even though it doesn't really feel like it, right? But they're threatening Dragon Soul, going to be threatening that in the next few minutes. As well as Sand Ninjas, they kind of get out-skilled anyway. And when you're looking at Sandage's team and you're thinking, okay, who on their team can carry? Cyclops can maybe, he can start popping off, right? We have seen Heckler do some crazy things, but so far, he's been a little bit more timid. And guess what? He's still fairly far away from having that Triforce finished. He'll probably have it for next Dragon, but even that, is that going to be enough? I kind of doubt it. I'm looking at Black, but Black, to be quite frank, has not been playing a lot of these fights as well as he could have been. He's been dying a lot. He needs to stay alive and be that key carry for Standards, and so far, I'm not seeing that potential coming through from him. That can change, but for now, I think Halo Spades definitely in a far stronger spot to win game 1. And we were talking about AD carry picks. Why don't you talk a little bit about the picks as bot lane? I don't think anyone's gonna die, but that could be.
I wouldn't get too excited about this one, Baymax. Okay. I think we could be here for quite a long time. There's the knockup coming through. Isaac, so much healing as well. 4 members have arrived though. I think there's a Baron going on though. Yeah, wow. I saw him on the map. Didn't want to talk about it at the time, but I should have, because the red team's picked up the Baron, and the Sandwiches just kind of walk away with the Baron. 4 people went bot. Isaac dies, but his team gets the Baron.
I was 100% sure nothing was going to come out of that, and then Isaac runs all the way up to the inner turret, and then 3 members from Halo Spades run down to him. It was a nice macro play from Sand Ninjas to go for that Baron. I like it, but at the same time, Halo Spades, you cannot commit that many resources to killing one overextended tank. I see what you're going for. It was a good look on Isaac, but you don't need 3. Yunjia and Corvus would have eventually gotten that kill, and you need Nico and Lapras and Pugs to be at that pit, stopping that Baron from going down. So, Baron, now in the hand of Sandages, right? And next Dragon spawning, maybe Sandages can keep the Dragon Soul from going over to Halo Spades.
Could be coming up in 10 seconds. We will talk about bot lanes at some point. But for now, we're probably going to have to talk about this Dragon. Up in 5 seconds, I would expect it to just be rushed down here by the Sand Ninjas. Might see a steal attempt, of course, come through by Yunjia. Very hard to deny Zach access to this pit. Control ward's down, so they do have vision of it. They're going to try to pull it out. Nature's Grasp has already been used. Looks like they're maybe being forced off of this. They're going to go back on it. There's the steal coming through. It has been stolen away. The soul goes over for the Halo Spades. The fight is going to commence. A great Shockwave's going to knock multiple members together. Cyclops going very low. He's going to be taken out. Killer Instinct Black is in the backline up against Alafras, taking huge amounts of damage, though. He's going to be taken out of this one. It's a double kill so far for Alafras. He's going in for a bit more. That's a second kill, or a third kill picked up for the team, I should say. Nico picking up that one. Alafras now trying to run away from Isaac. Can he keep himself alive? Exhaust has gone down. Where's Twisted Advance? There it is. Coming through, and Isaac can keep himself alive. It's an ace coming through for the Halo Spades. They pick up the Dragon, and they win the fight 5-1. Those Barons are gone, and the Soul's in the pocket of the Spades.
Carl, Cyclops was 300 gold short of having his Triforce at the start of that fight. That is so depressing, and I actually think it might have made the difference. There were some low health bars from Halo Spades. That is a big item spike for Hecarim, but Cyclops just not able to make that one come through for one reason or another. And now Halo Spades, they deny all of the Baron buffs from Sand Ninjas. They deny the Dragon. They get themselves the Dragon Soul. And on top of that, they win a team fight to boot. They take mid lane inner turret. Halo Spades, they are positioned exceptionally well to win this game.
It looked scary after that Baron went over, right? But, you know, all the Barons are gone now, so it's just the gold that really came from that. They were never able to push the Sand Ninjas with that Baron buff, so they basically got nothing out of it other than the 1,500 gold that comes from that objective. Black takes so much damage, almost ties in the mid lane. Holy hell, that's a lot of damage coming through from Nico. That shield not really quite in time there by Sleepy Giant Panda. Could have cost his 80 carry his life.
Lichbane!
Yeah, Lichbane. I was going to mention that actually before the pause, that the 2 item spikes have come through. Also, the Ornn items have started to come through. Double upgrade for himself, and of course that Might of the Ruin King, I believe it's called, for the Ezreal there. So he's going to be doing even more damage. We were talking about bot lane matchups. You wanted me to elaborate slightly on that, given my huge wealth of knowledge of bot lane matchups. Ezreal basically just does more damage than Kai'Sa. You know, Black diving into the backline. It just doesn't have the damage really to kill Ezreal at this point. He has too much healing, does too much damage, and the Nautilus, you know, is able to CC her, and she just kind of goes down. So the Kai'Sa needs to find, you know, a window where she's not diving into as many members. She can still get a lot of damage done if she dives in really deep, but she can't do it when she's diving into 4 members.
I also want to talk about the Kai'Sa pick in particular here, because Black, I understand that it's basically his most comfortable AD carry. In my opinion, that's not enough to justify the pick. You mentioned in the break you didn't like the pick. I don't like it either. Right now, there's like 5, maybe even 6 bot laners that if you look at competitive League of Legends, they are pick or ban. Things like Ezreal, Aphelios, Varus, even Syndra and Kalista. These champions are all ridiculously strong. I think the Aphelios was banned away. I think everything else was left open. Most of it was anyway. And you know, to pick Kaisa just in general is a little bit questionable when right now bot laners in particular, there's so many options that are just stronger to the point where you're almost trolling if you don't pick them. Now Sleepy Giant Panda forced to flash away. The Dredge line's going over onto Cyclops instead, but he is going to be able to walk out of that one just fine.
Full disengage there by the Sand Ninjas. Do not want anything to do with that fight. Isuck's arrived though, going pretty fast on those on that little speed buff from the Cloud Dragon, but decides not to fight in any regard. A few wards down in their jungle, so they're going to be able to see the Hail Spades walk them through there as they probably would just wait for this next Baron to come up, I would expect, in about 1 minute and 15 seconds. That will be on the map. Presumably that's where the Hail Spades will look to make their next stand, try to fight for that one, you know, maybe look for a pick, maybe just try to burn it down. They have a lot of options there for them. I would expect them to wait for that, although Sleepy Giant Panda, they probably saw him on that ward over the wall. Nico not able to land the bubbles, so that's a little bit unfortunate. They might be trying to dive Ice, but that also seems like kind of a poor idea.
You don't need that. You can just pressure him off the turret.
Just kill his turret, yeah.
Yeah, just take the turret away. They got Elaphrus and Nico to poke in zone, but Sandage, they're looking for the fight.
There is the spike on the board coming across. That can get a huge number of knockups. The engage by Hecarim just not going to get anything done. Cyclops not able to do anything in this fight. Isaac trying to zone off in the backline. The Shockwave did not do very much damage from here up. Just does not have the items to cut through these tanky members. It's only 1 kill, but it feels like Halo Spades just wiped the map in pressure. They're going to be able to walk back toward the Baron and get full control over this area.
Yeah, they only got the 1 kill, but they got some low health bars and, more importantly, burned ultimate cooldowns and summoner spells from the Sanditas, right? No flash on Sleepy Giant Panda, Hitter Up, or Isuck. No ultimates on anybody. And guess what? Sanditas are very ultimate reliant to fight. You know, maybe if Hitter Up gets a crazy 5-man shockwave into some sort of a wombo combo from Isuck and Cyclops, maybe then Sanditas can look to win the fight. But without that, no way. So Halo Spades, they hop on this Baron. They are trying to pick a fight over it. We might see contest from Sanditas, but honestly, it doesn't look like it'll go that well for him.
Cyclops not here. He doesn't even have a way to get into the pit. Even if he did, they're going to try to go for the burst combo, but it's not going to be enough. Halo Spades does pick up the Baron. Elder Dragon is that next objective. They're going to have to reset and run straight toward that. It's up in just 45 seconds, but they are in full control of this map.
We talked about how much pick control Halo Spades have, right? I would say at this point in the game, Black not able to get that much done. He does have the stopwatch now, so maybe he can make something happen with that. But for now, he just does not have the DPS to do anything crazy with the Killer Instinct, dive the backline, even shred through Corvus or Yunjia. It's not an option. I'm looking at Hitter Up for that massive shockwave and Cyclops for the follow-up damage. And Hitter Up does have the stopwatch as well, but just used that shockwave to try to steal the Baron. Dragon is spawning. Shockwave not going to be up for about 20 more seconds or so. This dragon will be long gone.
Hitter Up is just still in the mid lane too. He's just not even with his team if a fight goes down, and without that shockwave, there's not a whole lot of difference. He just needs to have that available if they want to fight, as the Dragon Dance hasn't been started up, but the dance definitely has.
Yeah, oh, they're going in. Yunjia picking the fight. Shockwave is back up, though.
Yeah, they're going straight away. Shockwave is available if they do need it. Call the Fort God does come through. Cyclops has to get the wild growth onto himself, trying to keep himself alive. Ice's going to be going down as well. Not able to take up too much in the back line. The Hecarim and the Maokai have fallen in this fight. Halo Spades not going to be greedy, not going to go for more kills. They just turn toward the Baron, or the Elder Dragon, I should say. There is no smite available. Just a few W's coming in from Black, and they're just kind of watching it on the wings, wishing that they could have this Elder Dragon, but they just can't contest this one. It's going to go in favor of the Halo Spades, and they basically are not fightable at this point.
Yeah, Halo Spades not even willing to give an attempt of a steal over to Sanditas. They say, we're not even going to start this. We're not going to leash it for you. We are just going to engage on you. We have the tools to do it. We are far enough ahead to do it. I did like Black looking mid lane, finally breaking that mid lane outer down and trading that for Elder Dragon. It's getting something back, but it's going to be a case of too little, too late, right? You said it. Halo Spades, they are running the map. They are very far ahead. And Sand Ninjas, they are probably looking towards game 2 at this point. They need a miracle to come back in this game.
Miracle indeed, Baymax. There's just no way to win this fight against the Elder Dragon. It does so much damage. Onslaught of Shadows has to be used defensively to get himself away from this fight. Black has to go into the stopwatch, but he's going to die straight away after it. There he does go down. Hitter Up with the shockwave, use it on himself. Not even going to get any damage with it. Little bit unfortunate for him there. Cyclops trying to go back in, but Elaphrus is just diving forward. Yunjia gonna go down at the end of this, but they pick up 2 kills in return. Top lane ready to carry. Gone for just the jungler. Halo Spades looking to probably go for the end here. Focus fire. Oh, how did that hook hit? Sleepy Giant Panda gonna get knocked off. Cyclops trying to keep his team alive with a bit of defensive engage here. Corvus going pretty low. Elabor's able to get himself away with 2-drop barrage for a bit of zone. Second Nexus Tower is gonna go down. Looks like they are just going to focus on to the Nexus, and Hail of Spades gonna win game number 1 in this series over Sand Ninjas to go 1-0.
Semifinals game number 1 goes to Hail of Spades. They say we are the Sand Ninjas Slayers, right? They took that first series earlier on in the season. They beat Sand Ninjas down 2-0 despite being the lower seeded team, and they're looking to do it again. That was there were parts of the game that felt close, but I would be lying if I said the game as a whole felt close. Honestly, to me, Hail of Spades just felt like in general they had better control over the map, better control over their champions, and I think if you're Sand Ninjas, you got to be pretty scared right now of what Hail of Spades are bringing to this best of 3.
Absolutely. They looked very coordinated this game, even when they weren't up a whole lot of gold, right? And that's kind of what you were touching on. It didn't even feel like they were that far ahead. Well, actually, it did feel like they were far ahead. It just didn't look like they were far ahead on the stat sheet. Had a lot of objective control, got all 5 dragons, all but one of the barons in this game, and overall just looked like the more coordinated team. It looked like the Sand Ninjas were kind of playing more as individuals, trying to, Black trying to make the hero plays, not a lot of cohesion around objectives for the Sand Ninjas team, and I think they just kind of need to reset, go back to the drawing board, maybe get a, slightly better bot lane situation going on. I think, it's a strong lane, but especially in team fights, just not quite able to pump out the same amount of damage that Elaphrus and Pogs can on this Ezreal Nautilus. Maybe look for the Aphelios, look for the Varus, something to kind of switch up this bot lane, and I think they do have a chance in this series, though, because this game was, for the most part, close.
I do want to give credit to 2 members of Sand Ninjas who I think had pretty strong performances. I think Hitterup did pretty well mid lane. A lot of good shockwaves, got a little bit behind early, but honestly, I think Hitterup did pretty well, was probably the most consistent member of Sand Ninjas this game, so credit to Hitterup. And Sleepy Giant Panda as well, I felt like had a pretty solid performance on the Lulu. Again, a lot of those shields, a lot of the wild growths are coming in at just the right time. A lot of plays, the poke in lane. It was looking good. I like the Lulu. I like the Oriana. So I'm curious to see how these drafts are going to change up. I definitely want to see Black. I don't know. Like I said, Kaisa is Black's favorite AD carry. Maybe they can find a way to make it work. I don't like the pick right now. I think there's like 5 bot laners that are pick or ban, especially if you look at most competitive League of Legends games right now. Kaisa's not one of them. Most of them are open. I think you got to find a way to make that work, or you find a way to get the Elaphrus off of Ezreal. I think that is huge. Elaphrus, his favorite champion, his favorite AD carry is Ezreal. Ezreal is really strong right now. Don't let that through draft.
Definitely would not recommend letting Ezreal through the draft. We're going to find out what gets left through the draft after this break when we come back with game number 2 between Hail of Spades and the Sand Ninjas. Don't touch that browser. Style Esports returns in just a few. power to do that. That being said, I probably would have preferred to see a Thresh just because it is a little bit more meta, a little bit more, diverse in its options. Blitzcrank's kind of just the hook and that's it. But I think this Kai'Sa could get far ahead if those hooks start landing on this Nami.
Yeah, he's the hook and that's it. But the hook is better. The hook is better than the Thresh hook, although definitely a little bit greedy potentially picking a hook champion into an Ezreal. Sure, you can look for hooks on the Sleepy Giant Panda, on the Nami. Maybe that'll work out for you. But Black, overwhelmingly likely to stay safe. You can't really fish for hooks on him. I want to look back at Sandy, just how they rounded out their comp there, because they started off with a Jarvan, and they ended up in second rotation picking up that Galio. That's presumably a mid lane Galio 4-hitter up. Thunderdome, right? You got the Cataclysm, got the Hero's Entrance. That is quintessential Thunderdome. Although, there's not much else there. Nami, pretty good with Thunderdome, but normally with a Thunderdome comp, you have the Jarvan Galio, yes, but you have more than just that. You have Wombo to follow that up with, and the rest of Halo Spades, I primarily single target damage, especially from I Suck, but from Black as well. The True Shot Barrage will be nice, but everything else is just like single target stuff. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about drafting sort of Galio Jarvan and then Ezreal Nami Fiora. You got what are you thinking?
On the other hand, there's no mobility for Halo Spades. The only dash they have is Kai'Sa's ultimate to get out of a Cataclysm. So if they all get stuck in there, they're all staying in there unless they have Flash. So I think that makes up for it a little bit. Also, you have True Shot Barrage coming through, maybe a Tidal Wave. So there is some synergy. It's not as great as if, there was a Ziggs or something to kind of just continue to lay down the pain train on that one.
Or Orianna, or Syndra,
Yeah,
or...
I
By the
don't
way,
think it's
Syndra
like...
open. I want to quickly talk about this, because I think Syndra's open last game too. Syndra is really strong. She's like pick or ban in most competitive games, most high-low matches. She's a really strong mid laner, and she's a very strong flex option as well. It hurts a little bit to see these teams not prioritizing her at all. It's not surprising. There's not many Syndra players, but Syndra's good, guys. Play Syndra. Sorry, go ahead. Good.
She's getting nerfed, so maybe play her less. But
okay, well, for now.
Play her tonight before she gets nerfed.
Tonight, yeah.
Yeah, everybody go play Silly Q. I think, you could have a better Wombo combo, but, maybe they didn't pick it for the Wombo combo. Maybe they just like these two picks, Maybe that's what they're going for here. And there are no dashes, so that could be important as well. I do want to mention, not a great selection of tanks for Trundle to ult. While Jarvan and Galio are both tanky, Trundle... really wants to be stealing stats from somebody like a Sejuani, from a Dr. Mundo, from a Zac, one of these like hardcore, like full tanks. Both of these are kind of like off tanks, right? You go like a Black Cleaver and a Cinder Hulk. There's not a lot of stats there to steal if you're Trundle. Galio, probably going to build some AP, some defensive. So I think Trundle has some pretty poor ultimate targets this game, and we won't see that like randomly super tanky Trundle. Although, of course, any, just stolen stats do help him out. And he has the Ornn in the front line as well.
I agree. I think Trundle was kind of a weird pick here. It is good disruption, right? The pillar, when so much of what Halo Spades is doing is centered around zone control. We talked already about the Thunderdome, about the Jarvan Galio. I think Trundle's a fairly good answer to that. If Sanities are trying to exploit a certain area, a certain zone, Halo Spades with Yunjia, with that Trundle pillar, have a pretty good answer to just be like, how about no? How about you don't use this zone, because this zone is my zone, and I'm setting it up for my team to be successful. So there's that. I don't hate it for that reason. Also, like Galio, Jarvan, especially the Galio, probably going to be running Aftershock. So if you go ahead and use that Subjugate while hitter ups, got the Aftershock popped, especially if it's a tank Galio, which it definitely might be, because there's a lot of other damage for this team, then the Trundle definitely can make a lot of sense as a pick for that reason. But overall, I agree. Normally, I feel like Trundle's a pick that comes out as a good first pick. It's an excellent blind pick, right? He's a good skirmisher. There's not a lot that you can punish him with. There's not a lot that wins against him. And also, you pick the Jarvan or you pick the Trundle, all of a sudden the other team doesn't want to pick other stuff. They don't want to pick other tanks like Zac, like Ornn. It's a good sort of, you almost get like more bans just because you pick Trundle first. It's like, oh, I guess we can pick any Mega Takes now. So, yeah, it's a little strange, but I can see what Yunji is going for here.
Also gives stacks for Alafris' ultimate. That's a little knockback by the pillar if you can land the pillar straight away. So I think Alafris will be able to pretty much ult to whoever he wants this game. Call the Forge God, the knock up from the pillar. Shockwave gives the stacks. So hopefully he'll be able to make some plays with that. We saw Black trying to go very aggressive with it in the last game. I would hope to see Alafris be a little bit more restrained. I think Black was over aggressive on this Kai'Sa pick and kind of led to his own demise a couple of times going in for that. So I think that ultimate has a lot of potential if you use it smartly, but it definitely is really hard. Kai'Sa's not an easy champion, and Alafris does have a lot of games on this pick, so I think he, has a lot of potential in this game to pop off. There's also less of a front line to hit than Black had in the last game, so that also works in favor of Alafris, having more squishy targets that he can kind of burst down with that upgraded Q, which doesn't really do any damage to super tanks. So I think Alafris is set up for more success than Black was in this last game, but I do agree with you in general. I still don't like the pick.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Anything can happen. Alafris did insane things last game. Popped off on the Ezreal, was looking really, 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 really strong. So if he says he can play the Kai'Sa, I'm inclined to believe him, or at least give him that chance, give him that benefit of the doubt. So we'll see. Alafris, go for it. You have my blessing. We can take a step back quickly and talk about these team comps as a whole, and more specifically, Halo Spades. They've drafted the Orianna mid lane. I want to talk about that. It's pretty good into the Galio, but last time around, it was Hitter Up on the Orianna, and Hitter Up had pretty good ball delivery. Now, we didn't see a game success, a game win coming through for Sand Ninjas, but several times there were pretty big shockwaves, usually off the back of that Hecarim, of that ball delivery system. And right now, there really isn't that for Nico. Maybe Corvus, maybe Yunjia. These are not great ways to get that ball onto somebody. These are not Jarvans or Lee Sins or Rek'Sai's. This is sort of soft engage, or soft setup anyway for the Orianna ball. So we'll see how that ends up going for Nico.
I would like to see the Alafris ball delivery. Well, he ults through the team. What do you think? You put the ball on him, put the ball on his head, and he ults through the team. And on his way, you use the shockwave. Genius. I think it's a genius pick.
You can do it. It's very difficult to pull off. Very hard to make happen. We'll see. It might happen. We are going to go to a quick break while this game loads. But when we come back, we'll have game number 2 of Halo Spades versus Sand Ninjas, the semifinals in Ionia. We will see what happens. Do not go anywhere. We will be right back.
Welcome to the Rift, everybody, for game number 2 here between Hail of Spades, now on the red side, and the Sand Ninjas on the blue side. Might see an invade coming through, so I'm going to keep it short. I'm your Carl, alongside Baymax. How do you feel about this level 1?
Up at the level 1? I mean, Blitzcrank hook lands, GG. Bubble lands, GG. I think whoever walks into whoever, blind hook not going to connect from Pogs on that one. A little bit of a guess, doesn't end up paying off. I want to set the stakes. Yeah, anti-Pogs, X-Man says in my ear. Not quite as Pog champ as you might hope, but you know what? There'll be plenty more where that come from. Carl, I want to set the stakes up quick here. This is the semifinals for Ionia. Hail of Spades already up 1-0. They have 2-0'd Sand Ninjas in the past in the regular season. If Hail of Spades can win right here, right now, with what frankly I think is a bit of an unorthodox team composition, they will advance to the finals versus most likely Imperial Knights, but it could end up being Syndicate as well.
Sure.
I won't rule it out. But this is like, this could be the last game of this semifinals best of 3. Sand Ninjas, their backs are against the wall here.
That is true. That being said, they do have the Ezreal on their team, which last game turned out to be quite a good pick. So we'll see how Black can do on that one in this game. They just flipped the 80 carries, so that should be pretty exciting. Well, then I would expect to see some fighting just because we do have that Blitzcrank, and that always kind of leads to some craziness coming through, and a little bit more even of a lane start this time, which we also didn't see last time. A little bit of level 2 action in the mid lane, both junglers visiting the mid lane, and nothing happens, but could have been a fight there in the early game.
Could have been a fight. Didn't quite materialize. Nico and Hitter up, like you said, both junglers assisting their mid laners, hanging out nearby, ready to help in case of a gank. Nothing ends up coming through, but a little to poke mid lane. I think nothing happening. Probably going to end up favoring Nico, right? Jarvan Galio actually a very strong 2v2 even before those ultimates are available. Galio brings a lot to the table in case of a jungle gank. He's got a lot of damage, a surprising amount of damage if his abilities hit, but he's also got a ton of crowd control, right? If you end up getting hit by that Justice Punch, you're going to eat an entire Shield of Durant stun if you don't flash or taunt, and you're probably going to go down because that'll set up perfectly for Cyclops' flag and drag. So I think it was really good that Yunjiga hovered mid there and stopped the gank from happening. Now looking for the repeat gank. Hitter up could be in trouble.
Looking for the gank of his own, but that taunt comes through. Hitter up just walks away to safety. A little bit too much justice in the mid lane to gank this early on in the game. Hitter up going to be just fine. Yunjiga walks away disappointed.
A little bit disappointing, but nothing too crazy. It was a close try. That pillar was really close to interrupting that Justice Punch. If that had happened, probably forcing Hitter Up's flash, but didn't quite happen. Hitter Up manages to Justice Punch to safety. Still though, not a terrible turn of events. Wasted a little bit of time, but both these junglers still relatively even with each other. Cyclops is hanging on the bot side of the map, and his lane does have pressure, but we talked about it. It's an Ezreal Nami. Ezreal not bringing the most damage early on. Sleepy Giant Panda on the Enchanter, on the Nami, does have a lot of pressure, but probably not going to be looking for too many ganks on the bot side of the map, especially this early on. The damage might not be there.
Similar to last game with the Lulu, provides a lot of early pressure. Nami, you know, the E buff does so much damage early game for Black's auto attacks that they do gain a lot of lane pressure. Blitzcrank not able to land too many hooks thus far in the game, so Alafris and Fog is going to be a little bit on the back foot for just a few seconds here, a few minutes I should say, in the bot lane. Probably before the first couple of recalls come through and they, you know, are a little bit more free in this lane. Alafris down to half HP, kind of has to just chill out and farm up what he can so far. So bot lane going in favor. Actually, we're gonna see a fight down there.
Panda.
Sleepy Giant Panda gets hooked in, going very low exhaust onto Black, who has to arcane shift himself away. And that was a nice hook by Pogs. Doesn't quite pick up the kill onto that support, but the heal was burned.
Pogs says this is how you play Blitzcrank, and Alafris says this is how you play Kai'Sa. Hail of Spades bot lane, despite being pushed in, off to a pretty solid start there, burning the heal from Black, but Alafris using his exhaust in return. The next hook lands, definitely could spell death for Panda though, but for now Black and Panda still getting the push in that lane. Dragon is about to spawn on the map. I think we should talk about that because with bot lane pressure being so totally in the hands of Sand Ninjas, getting that Dragon for Sand Ninjas, holy crap, the dive!
Under the tower. First blood goes in favor of Sleepy Giant Panda, and he drops tower aggro, got hooked in, but was out of range when he did get hooked, so he does not go down. What a great play there by Sleepy Giant Panda, picking up first blood, just taking matters into his own hands. Black doesn't even get an assist.
Alapharis missing 2 waves for dying there as well. Although Yunjia looking for a gank. Might have been an overstay from Black. He's got no mana.
Does have flash, however, probably going to be able to use that to get himself. Teleport coming in as well. Still not able to really fight Black, though. Yunjia now on the back foot. Teleport coming in as well. That's going to be Nico coming in. Black has picked the kill onto Pogs. The shield goes down, but no shockwave available. Black going forward, gets some mana back from that W. And all things considered, a great play for Sand Ninja. They burn the teleport and they get the kill.
I think presence of mind as well. I could be mistaken about that one, but a lot of mana came back. Black was out. That shutdown or that kill comes through. Everything changes. Sand Ninjas can continue the fight. This dragon should be pretty easy for Sand Ninjas to take once Black finally gets a reset off. Still hasn't recalled yet, so for now, Halo Spades actually going to have a window where they have some pressure in the bot lane, and Yunjia maybe can even look to go for this dragon, but mid lane pressure, Hitter Up actually doing pretty well in this 1v1. Cyclops also, by the way, I don't know if you've noticed, wisely spending a lot of time hanging around mid lane, making sure that Hitter Up is not getting bullied, not getting behind. I like that. I think that's really, really smart. As Pogs looks for the hook bot lane, not going to quick connect. Cyclops looking for a gank. Flag and Drag is here.
Alapharis having to get himself out. Has flash if he needs it, and I would say he does. Uses it a little bit late. He's going to be going down. Pogs trying to get himself away. No hook available. Used that right before the gank came through, and Alapharis going to fall for the second time. That dragon under even more threat.
Yeah, 3-0 start for the Sand Ninjas. Things are looking pretty good. A little bit of a gold lead, about 2,000 gold 7 minutes in, and Dragon more than likely to go over as well. This is the first Dragon of the game, so it's not like Halo Spades are out of this one yet, but definitely a different story, different tale being told than last game.
Absolutely. The CS in the bot lane almost double for Black so far. Already has Sheen and Tier, going to be scaling up very well, and this bot lane of Halo Spades needs to get something done soon, or they're just going to kind of get run under the bus, I feel, for the rest of this game. Obviously, the hooks can always be very instrumental for Pogs to get their team back in the game. Isoc taking a lot of damage in the top lane. Corvus definitely deals some damage on this Ornn. Isoc might have to flash to get himself out of this one. That's a nice stun. There is the ultimate pop. Call the forward gun comes through. Isoc gonna have to flash away from this one. Surely flashes behind him, trying to go for the bit of an outplay, but Isoc goes very low. He just gets taken out. He dies on his own healing.
Isoc, that was so close. I saw the outplay. Didn't quite happen. Corvus just got a little bit too much damage. Also had the flash of his own, so could have invested that and probably still would have won, even if things were looking a little bit more grim. I do want to point out, Isoc died. That's a kill going over to Corvus. That kind of sucks if you're Sand Ninjas, but Isoc is farming very well, and farming well in a champion that scales very well and will win the side lane eventually, right? Fiora's a ticking time bomb. Once she gets a couple items, maybe a Blade of the Rune King or a Death Dance or a Triforce, she is going to start outscaling. In bot lane, Black and Sleepy Giant Panda, wow, they're already outscaling. They have total control over this lane. Giant Panda going a little bit too far forward, though. Holy crap. Taking some turret damage.
Almost just died on the spot. If the Q had come out from Alapharis, he would have gone down. No gap closers, though, for this Kai'Sa yet in the game, so wasn't able to get anything done. And there, Herald was picked up actually by Halo Spades, so a nice sneak on that objective. Looks like they're going to walk away safely, so they are definitely fighting back in this game.
Yeah, I like the punish there. Cyclops maybe characteristically spending a little bit too much time in his own jungle, not enough using his lanes that have pressure to take away these jungle objectives, right? That was a criticism we had last time around. Ooh, Black arcane shifting under turret. Hook bot lane.
Alapharis is dead. Goes down. Alapharis going real. He is still alive. Gonna survive that actually. The auto attack not enough. Black, is he gonna get autoed? Is he gonna go down? No, he's not. He's gonna be able to escape from that one, and miraculously nobody dies in that bot lane fight, Baymax. Although Nico now in trouble, has to flash away. He's gonna be okay at the end of the situation, and everybody's still alive.
Somehow everyone's still alive. Very low health bars. Black and Sleepy still looking to push, still looking to pressure. Alapharis is dying down here, begging for some help, saying, I don't have the range to deal with this, and help he's gonna get. Yunjia coming in hot.
Going into this one. Oh, what a great bubble. The flash straight into it. That's not what you want to see. I shouldn't laugh, but oh, the True Shot Barrage picks up one kill. Can he get the second? Yes, he can. What a great play by Black, picking up the double kill, turning that right on its head.
Alapharis and Pogs off to a disastrous start here, right? 0-3 on this Kai'Sa. You mentioned it, almost double CS for Black at 80 CS, 10 minutes in. That's near perfect. 88 for Isoc as well, by the way. So 5 kills to 1. Halo Spades, they got on the map with that kill onto Corvus, but everything since then has still been downhill. Yunji has got the Herald picked up, but what good is a Herald if you have no lanes of priority, nowhere to drop that thing, right? You need somewhere to open up. You need a turret that's got a plate or two down that you can rotate to and finish off. If you don't have that, first Herald is not really worth all that much.
No, absolutely not. And you know, where do you put it? I would say probably the top lane. Corvus has the most pressure out of any of the lanes, but then you're still getting the Ornn ahead, and that's not what you really want either. So it's pretty much a pretty big dilemma here for Yunji to where to put that Herald. Bot lane item-wise, we have a Mana unit and a Sheen completed already for Black, so he is gonna run away with this game. I have to think. Stacking pretty well already for himself. Has 200 stacks at 10 minutes. Sheen as well. There's no way this fight in the bot lane goes in favor of Halo Spades unless they land a great hook. That's when I would say they maybe could win this fight, but it just doesn't look very likely. Flashbone blown by Hitter up in the mid lane to get away from the gank.
Well, you know what they say, if you can't beat them, roam somewhere else. Alapharis and Pogs in that river trying to punish Hitter up, who, remember, just burned Flash. Doesn't have vision on Pogs right now. I do believe spotted him in the Scuttlecraft. X-Flash over the wall. Here we go.
There's the knock up. Hook gonna go a little wide, and that was anticlimactic in the extreme. As Hitter just kind of walks away, and
Why? Yeah. I feel like Nico probably should have shockwaves, and then pillar there from Yunji. You can get Hitter up next to the wall and just kill him, right? Like,
you'd think so, but that's not what went down.
That is not what went down. Unfortunate, but not a bad look. I like the look. I think maybe the execution could have been a little bit better, but look at the bot lane, right? Look at how much Halo Space lost for that. Pogs rotated mid lane. Meanwhile, bot lane, that means Alapharis is left in this 1v2. 3 turret plates now have bled off of this bot lane turret. Alapharis giving so much CS, down 40 CS to Black. Total dragon control in the area is in favor of the Sand Ninjas. Halo Spades, they are just grasping at straws.
I want to point out, Black is level 9 so far. He is the same level as the whole laners, at least the mid laners. We're going to see a fight in the mid lane. Actually, Fog's going in onto Cyclops. There's the shockwave, not going to actually land onto anybody. Cyclops able to get himself out. There is the hero's entrance from Gallia. Going to try to get a nice taunt as well. 2-man taunt. Black's arrived on the scene. There's the Shredder going to come across. He is unstoppable now. Yunji actually gets himself away from this. Nico just looking on from this one. Alapharis as well can't even join this fight. This is just all Sand Ninjas, and we're only 10 minutes into the game.
Oh, the thing that sucks so much is that Shockwave was so close to being good. It was a whiff, but Nico, I think, definitely could have gotten that onto Cyclops and got a kill. Picked off a member of Sand Ninjas and probably gotten out alive. But instead, Sand Ninjas, they win the fight. They have the re-engage come through from Black and Giant Panda. And Dragon goes over as well. Not only that, but Isaac starting to win this top lane matchup, right? Got the Vamp Scepter, got the Tiamat starting to come online on this Fiora, forcing Corvus's Flash, starting to cement a bit of a CS lead up there as well. It feels like Sand Ninjas, they're just running the map right now.
There's the call. The Forge got onto Isaac. Does Corvus want to fight? Actually, no mana onto Isaac. Gank coming in as well. Yunjia here to provide a bit of support, and the Chomp. Jungler going to pick up the kill. That Trundle 1-0.
1-0 Trundle is nice. Is it going to be enough for Halo Spades to come back into this game? Maybe. The gold gap hasn't changed much over the last few minutes, so that's important, right? You can talk all day long about the gold difference, but what can be more important than the gold difference is the trend in the gold, whether that gold difference is increasing or not. And it's been about 2,000 gold separating these teams for, what, 7 minutes or so? So that's actually a good sign for Halo Spades that they're stabilizing a little bit. But the question is, how long is that going to be good enough, right? 2 dragons already gone over to the Sand Ninjas. They're going to be able to start threatening that Ocean Soul, which is, by the way, probably the strongest soul, especially with this team when you have an Ezreal and an Anami, champions that thrive with healing, thrive with long, extended fights. Ocean Souls are fantastic. Same thing with even like a Jarvan, or not a Jarvan, although it's good with Jarvan too, but same thing with like a Galio and a Fiora. These champions like these drawn out extended fights with lots of opportunities for healing. So, Ocean Soul, very strong. 10 minutes on that. 10 minutes less. 10 minutes and counting until Halo Spades have basically got to force a fight. And they may have stabilized for now, but 10 minutes from now, they will not be able to give the dragon. They'll have to fight over it. And can they, is the question. They sneak this Herald right now. Isaac looking for a fight. Alapharis gonna be challenged.
Finding himself in a sticky situation. Killer Instinct, the Shockwave not going to land quite in time. Yunji not going to flash in time. There's a nice taunt coming through. Black just diving into this fight. Corvus going to be going down. It's 3 members down. A nice tidal wave as well. Going to maybe try to pick up a few more kills. Pog going to find himself the recipient of that Aqua Prism. Everybody is just joining into this fight. Pog's going to be going down at the end of that battle. Cyclops picking up that kill, and it looked, we were trying to hype up Halo Spades' chances, and they just kind of get put in the ground once again. They get the Herald, but they lose the fight.
You know, at the end of the last game, I remember saying that Halo Spades, they won, and there were points that were close, objectively that were close, but it never felt like it was close. Right now, right here in this game, Sand Ninjas are doing the same thing, but even more. Not only has it felt not close, it hasn't been close. Basically, since minute 1, Sand Ninjas have had their foot on the gas pedal, and they have not been letting up. They've been winning across the map. ISUCK might be the only exception here. About to get ganked again. Will he go down?
Probably can get away, I would think. There's the repose. Can he just lunge over the wall? Oh, fails it into the wall. Not what you like to see. Yunji is still chasing. Now the teleport going to come in. Probably going to save this Fiora. There's going to be a taunt coming through. Double taunt has come down. Yunji going to be calling Corvus very soon to follow. You have to feel everybody's here. There's 4 members in the top lane. Corvus trying to run himself to safety. Elaphrus is here, but what can he do? He just doesn't do any damage on this guy. So might be able to pick up the kill on the ice. If he can get a couple more autos in, he should be able to. This should be the kill. Pogs picks up the kill though. Disaster. 0-4 still on the Kai'Sa. Hit her up though with an interesting play under the tower. Elaphrus, nice flash, keeps on left. Cyclops now chasing after him. The killer instinct is not quite available. Shockwave though could be enough. Cyclops goes down. That's a shutdown into the pocket of Elaphrus. Has 2 kills in that fight. Halo Spades still have some fight left in them.
Okay, don't get me wrong. If you're Halo Spades, you take those. That was you're right. Okay, that was a good fight for Halo Spades. But when you say Halo Spades got some fight left in them, I want to make very clear what happened there. Sand Ninjas got way too greedy, went really over aggressive, and did, frankly, a kind of a stupid dive. That wasn't really Halo Spades outplaying Sand Ninjas. That was Sand Ninjas outplaying themselves. Now, there's no reason that can't keep happening. There's definitely capacity for over-aggression from this team. We've seen it before. We saw it just there, right then. Definitely not ideal to give Elaphrus 2 kills, right? He is like the key carry that has potential to win Halo Spades this game later on. He's starting to come online, potentially. He's still really far behind, obviously. 2-4, only 96 CS, a 60 CS difference between Black and Elaphrus, but giving kill gold over the enemy AD carry, never a good thing. 3 for 2, your Halo Spades, you 100% take those, but Dragon spawning, Sand Ninjas, they're back on it, they're back in the pit, they have vision control, they are probably going to get this 3rd Dragon of the game.
Elaphrus is still 3,000 gold behind Black, so we don't want to get too caught up in that. In fact, this is a 4 versus 5, at least for the moment. There's no Fiora. ISUCK doesn't teleport, but that hasn't been used. Red team has stolen the dragon, goes over in favor of Halo of Spades. The fight does commence as well. Elaphrus very low in the backline, though. He is going to be taken out almost certainly. No, he's not. Keeps himself alive, and they are trying to win this fight. They picked up 1 kill out of Hit Up. The second goes down to Black. That's the shutdown. 1,000 gold into Yunji's pocket. Cyclops trying to get him stunned. Can he go back in on Elaphrus? Misses the EQ, but he does pick up the kill. Traded back. Elaphrus picking up that kill. Sleepy Giant Panda trying to run for his life. The mid lane is being pushed, though. ISUCK is onto the inhibitor tower. Will he be able to take it out? It looks like yes, he will. Going to be moving on to the inhibitor. It's just Nico and Pogs left to stop him, and I'm not too sure that they can. Corvus recalling as well. Hex Flash to try to buy a little bit of time. There's the repose going to be dodged away from Nico now on the scene. I don't think they can stop him. ISUCK just dashing around this inhibitor. Can they take him out? 1 more auto should do it. It does go down in favor of the Sand Ninjas, but another fight that actually kind of goes in the favor of Halo Spades, Baymax.
Okay, Carl, almost this exact thing happened last game, and it was Halo Spades with Elaphrus on Ezreal who ended up losing the fight. The key difference being they actually got the dragon. When they lost the fight, almost the same thing happened, right? They had a lead, they were ahead, they got a little bit cocky, and they ended up picking a fight that was too quick. Elaphrus got collapsed on the Ezreal and died before he could get his damage out. That is what happened to Sand Ninjas this time around. So almost the exact same thing happened. The good news for Sand Ninjas is that this is not what sealed the deal for Halo Spades last time around, so it's probably not going to seal the deal for Sand Ninjas either. Make no mistake, they are still very far ahead, but it's a nice reminder that, hey, if you get lazy, if you don't play your comp right, if Black gets caught out, which he did a lot last game, if all that happens, Halo Spades, they can still win these fights. They've got Wombo, and again, 2 more kills, 1 big shutdown onto Elaphrus. He's going to start coming online. Halo Spades, you said it, they got some fight left in them.
Pretty unfortunate that the shutdown did go over in favor of Yunjia and not onto one of those key carries, but he was able to complete the Thornmail, so that's always nice. A lot of physical damage coming through for this team. We haven't really mentioned that at all, but most of the damage on this team is physical, and that will help the tanks out a lot, building a lot of armor for themselves. And the Dragon went over in favor of the Halo
Oh,
Spades.
the hook over the wall.
Hit her up, gonna have to get himself away. Everybody can survive that one. Summon her down. But yeah, the Dragon went over in favor of Halo Spades, buying themselves another 5 minutes if they do, there's not gonna be a soul. They're not on soul point. Stand Ninjas is not, is what I'm trying to say here, and that could be important for the future. Another hook over the wall. The Shockwave as well to interrupt the EQ. Cyclops going down. What a great play by Halo Spades. And honestly, Stand Ninjas just kind of stepping up to get hooked again.
Yeah, Pogs just threw a hook from that bush and hit her up, forced his flash. Not a big surprise that it would happen again. Got to be a little bit critical of Sand Ninjas. You got to feel like they're getting frustrated that they've been actually on the losing end of some of these trades. They're trying to force something, and they end up losing more. Now Corvus might get caught up bot lane. He's getting collapsed on, but he's just fine. Sand Ninjas decide to grab on the Baron. I think it's a good idea, right? I don't think Sand Ninjas should be looking for that Baron, especially with Isaac bot lane and the split push to not at the Baron. Where's the DPS going to come from? Ezreal does not excel at killing epic jungle monsters. He's much better at killing champions. Now Isaac too far forward, going to die to the Cajun Rain.
Just goes down, call the Forge God to get the knockup onto Sleepy Giant Panda. Another bubble, but Lapras going in with the Killer Instinct, trying to be the hero for his team. Eats a nice WQ from Ezreal and decides against that one. They are still chasing forward. It is only a 5 versus 4 though. Black still very strong. Half his mana bar is still available. Pogs with another hook on a hitter up. Maybe not the champion that you do want though. Nice stasis there from the stopwatch. Buy a little bit more time. Going to be able to be just fine.
Shockwave almost up.
Another fight was won there for Halo Spades. They pick up just the one kill on the top laner, but Isaac a little bit too far forward.
Oh my god, Shockwave. All of Sand Ninjas almost walked into this nice Shockwave. Yunjia forced to flash out of the Cataclysm. Thought something might come out of there. Nico's Shockwave. Okay, at the back end of that fight, Shockwave was almost off cooldown. Most of Sand Ninjas almost locked into it just as it was coming on cooldown, but didn't quite. Was just a few seconds off. Regardless, Sand Ninjas, they do sort of win the fight. They force Yunjia's flash, and they turn their eyes back on this Baron. Carl, I don't think they can do this, though. I think they're going to have this. They're making a mistake, I think.
Baymax, we have seen this movie before, and it ends with Pogs grabbing somebody over the wall. Baron going down a little bit more. Teleport has been channeled by Nico to get there a little bit faster. Hex Flash into the pit even. Oh, no. Pog's going to be getting himself the other direction from that one. I thought we might see a bit of a Pog play, you might say, going into the pit there with the Blitzcrank. But besides against it, Yunjia going to get some position, clearing out a few words. As the split push is coming through from Isaac, though, something has to be done here by Halo Spades. You either need to force the Baron or recall to stop this Fiora, because he is pushing, but it looks like Sand Ninjas is just back off as well.
Yeah, Corvus in the bot lane already, and I actually think Halo Spades should have run straight to that Dragon. There was a low health bar on Cyclops and low mana bars on Black and Sleepy Panda. I think Halo Spades maybe can take that Dragon fight, try to force something there, but again, like you said, they got that last Dragon, so Sand Ninjas are not threatening Soul Point. Halo Spades can feel a little bit more relaxed, play a little bit slower. They can give this Dragon if they have to, and it looks like that is what they're going to do. They're slow on the reset. Yunjia, though, trying to contest it. I don't think this is a good idea. Halo Spades, we're not here yet. You got to buy time.
Going in maybe a bit too far. Might see a fight after the Dragon, but they're certainly not going to be picking that one up. That has gone in favor of the Sand Ninjas. Isaac now going forward. Tidal Wave with a bunch of knockups, trying to keep the backline safe. Shockwave does not get a whole lot done. The carries trying to get themselves out. Isaac has picked up the first kill. Pog's going to be falling as well. This is a disaster for the Halo Spades. They're going to get aced here. A triple kill for Black, and all of a sudden this game just flips right around. This could be game, Baymax.
Maybe. We'll see. 30-second death timers. And teleport mid lane, there's no wave for Sand Ninjas, but Hitter Up did teleport mid lane to get that wave coming a little bit faster. Only 15 seconds on Pogs and Yunjia, 20 on Alafris and Nico and Corvus. I don't think this is going to be the end of the game. Sand Ninjas don't exactly excel at trading towers, and they realize this. They're going back. They're going to hit up that drag, or hit the Baron. I want to talk about Halo Spades in that last fight, because Halo Spades, what are you doing? If you wanted to contest that Dragon, you had the perfect inside track after you forced Sand Ninjas off of Baron. You knew they retreated their bot side jungle. You could have ran right over to that pit as a team, gotten there first, set a vision, and threatened to do it. Or you can give it. That's okay. It's okay to give the Dragon, because it's not Dragon Soul yet. You got that last one. You got the last one. It's not Dragon Soul yet, you can give it, but instead Halo Spades, they pick the worst option, which is forfeit that inside track, forfeit getting there first, forfeit the vision control, and still try to contest with a splintered team that's not together. It was just a sloppy macro call, and it cost them so much. Not only did they lose the dragon, not only did they lose the fight, they lost the Baron as well. So Sand Ninjas on Soul Point now with Baron, got that mid lane inhibitor broken down. They can start to pressure the side lanes with a really strong Fiora, who's got a Ravenous Hydra, got a Triforce. Hail of Spades, they are in trouble.
We're looking so good too, Ben. You know, winning a couple of fights in a row looked like we might see a bit of a closing in this game, and it just kind of all fell apart there in that fight. Excuse me, as just didn't have the setup that they've had in those previous fights. You know, there was no hook, there was no overextension from Sand Ninjas, and it kind of shows how far ahead the Sand Ninjas really are if they do take a fight, you know, that's at least neutral or in their favor. 3-1, like you said, have the Baron buff, again, in complete control, and I think they just need to make sure they don't throw this game and start giving objectives or, you know, kills back in favor of Hail of Spades and just close this one out.
We'll see. We'll see if they can do it, because Sand Ninjas right now grouping up on the top side of the map. Isaac taking turret spot lane. Look who's answering him. It's Nico. Corvus is top lane. The Shockwave is not in the fight. I don't know if that's a good idea.
Black taking one tower shot, but he's going to be able to get himself out. Nico maybe the only one that can actually match the Fiora at this point. A nice shift to get away from Corvus's engage. Everyone going to be just kind of hanging out, a little bit of a dance. Pogs baiting with that Hex Slash. Hook should be up in just a few seconds. In the bot lane, Nico gonna get dove into the tower there by Isaac. Can he get himself out? No, he can't. Huge burst of damage coming through. Isaac's on a killing spree now, and this is a problem for Hail of Spades. They need to fight right now, and they need to win this fight, but it looks like they're just not gonna be able to. Call of the Board God does come through. A nice dive under the tower. These carries are just getting shredded. Olafris doing what he can, but he's gonna be going down at the end of this one. Corvus as well gonna fall. It's an ace across the map, and this is just gonna be the end of the game. Isaac's already onto the Nexus towers.
We are going to a game 3. Sand Ninjas, after a couple sloppy fights in the mid game, a little bit of stuttering, they come back, they hit hard, they punch Hail of Spades straight in the jaw. They say, that's for game number 1. We are taking you to a third game. We are going to win this semifinals, and maybe, just maybe, they can do it.
That was a very decisive game by Sand Ninjas, and I think, for me, this comes back completely to the bot lane. The Kaisa Blitzcrank just did not work out. Black got so far ahead. I mean, I think they were 0-6, 0-7 combined, you know, by 8 minutes into the game, and that's just not really a place that you can come back from if you are a bot lane, especially on something like Kaisa that needs to be ahead of the curve, and I just don't know why you pick it in this game into the Ezreal. You just beat Kaisa on Ezreal in the previous game. I just don't know why you switch it up and just try to win with what you just beat.
Yeah, and knowing the matchup too, right? The Ezreal and I think also the Nami were picked before Olafris locked in that Kaisa. So, you know, if you're going to pick these unorthodox picks, if you're going to pick something that isn't meta, that isn't very strong, then, you know, that's on you, right? If you can't make it work, then you got to go back to the drawing board. And I think for both these teams, the drawing board should be ban Ezreal. I don't think he should be let through draft. If you are not blue side, you should ban Ezreal. So probably going to see a side swap going through here, which would mean that the duty to ban Ezreal would fall on Sand Ninjas. Going into this draft, they banned a lot of the stuff that was a struggle for them in game number 1. They banned the Zac, they banned the Zoe, they banned the Nautilus. Maybe this time there'll be an Ezreal among those bans. I certainly hope there will be. But Black, gotta give credit where credit is due, right? 11-1. He had a much stronger performance this time around.
Much stronger game from him, certainly, in game number 2. And we're going to see what those drawing board selections do turn out to be after this short break. We'll be back for game number 3 in just a few. Don't touch that browser. Welcome back, everybody, to game number 3 between Sand Ninjas and the Halo Spades. We're into Champ Select. This game was pro-drafted. The pro-draft was started before we were back from our break. So we're bringing you the draft live and reacting to it along with you guys. Joining me in that reacting is Baymax. I'm your all Carl. Baymax, over to you.
Should be good. We got a thank you for that. Thank you for that clean intro. I'm not really sure what to do with it, but I'm rolling with it. So it was clean. I just wasn't ready for it. I got my paper out, got my pen out, and taking some notes. But we're here. We're in the third draft. This is game number 3 of the semifinals. We got yet another side swap. So we are looking at Halo Spades on blue side and Sand Ninjas on red side. 1-1 between these teams right now. Here we go.
That is
right.
Yep. I mean, it's back to the wall. Time to play real AD carries, I think, is what these teams decided, and we'll be seeing that coming through in a few minutes. But first, we have Galio top. Swain was not banned. Once again, I do believe, let me just check. Actually, Swain was banned before that top laner came through, so no Swain for Corvus, unfortunately. Again, pro draft kind of messes with the order here, but Corvus going for the Galio top. He's known for some unconventional picks like that Swain. I can't say I've heard of Galio top or seen it too much. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, Baymax, but I was kind of expecting a Karma top and a Galio mid, but I guess they're just flipping the script on us.
I don't think Galio top is good. The primary reason you pick Galio is to have that cross map pressure with his ultimate, right? The hero's entrance being positioned in the mid lane makes it so easy to roam to fights in the bot side, fights around Dragon, fights around Herald. You can be anywhere just like that. If you're top lane, don't have quite that same level of freedom to move around the map. You're sort of more stuck in that lane, especially with Isaac on Gnar, which I think is a very strong pick into it, right? Gnar is a strong side laner, probably going to be forcing Corvus to stick in that top lane more often than he'd like to be on a pick like the Galio. So if I'm being honest with you, Carl, I am not a fan.
Yeah, I just don't know what it does that another champ couldn't do better. Right, like if you want roaming, maybe go with the Pantheon. If you want a tank, pick Maokai, pick Mundo. If you want like team help, I don't know, play Karma top. So I just don't know what it's gonna achieve. And there's also just not a lot of damage on this team. It's just Aphelios that's gonna do damage to this team. Karma probably gonna go either support items or like Glacial Augment, like, you know, Super Soaker, go for the slow build, maybe even go tank. So I just think it's only Elafris that's going to be doing damage this game. And honestly, there's a decent amount of ways that he can die this game. Varus arrows do a lot of damage. Corki can just blow people up. Silas randomly heals to full health. A nice Gnar into the wall could spell doom for this team. So I think really all their eggs in the Elafris basket.
That's another reason to put Corvus mid lane, right? Because then you got that hero's entrance a lot closer to the bot lane. You can help out and be there for Elafris more often, more easily. So I think you're convincing me even more that I don't like the top lane Galio. It could be a lane swap. We could see Nika go top lane and Corvus go mid. I guess that's possible. I would like that more. I'm also curious about the Silas jungle. But before we get to that, I want to talk about the Aphelios again because you talked about it. Let's talk about it. It's got through draft. This is the first time this series that Aphelios was allowed through draft. Ezreal banned away, I think wisely. Elafris proved just how good he is at that champion game number 1. But Black, instead of opting for the Kai'Sa again, opted for a Varus, which I know you didn't like the Kai'Sa pick. I hated it as well. So happy to see a new spiced up bot lane.
Yeah, I think Varus is just way stronger than Kai'Sa ever will be, at least right now in the meta. So I'm very excited to see that come through. I think it did get nerfed last patch, but it still does so much damage, right? I mean, they took 0.1 off of the AD scaling. That doesn't make a whole lot of difference. And there's not a ton of like super tanks. So the Varus will be able to hurt most of these members with the Qs, even through the Karma shields. Those arrows can do a lot of damage, even if he's not really that far ahead, right? He gets a couple of items and it just does so much damage against people that aren't building armor. And there's a lot of magic damage on the side of the Sand Ninjas. Silas, Corki, and Nami do almost full magic damage. So the defensive itemization is going to be stretched a little bit thin here for the Halo Spades. They don't really have a true tank anyway. So I think Black is going to do a lot of damage in this game.
I definitely agree. One thing worth pointing out is that Pogs and Nico are both going to have a substantial amount of shielding, which can mitigate a lot of the poke coming through from those piercing arrows, but not all of it. Pogs can only shield himself. Nico can shield AoE, can shield more than one person, but that is dependent and reliant on him having his ultimate available to Mantra. So if he doesn't have that, not going to be quite as lucky. And I want to talk about the late game too. Aphelios scales very well and has a lot of damage in those mid and late game team fights. But like you mentioned, Sand Ninjas, they have a lot of damage, a lot of ways to kill it, and they have really strong scaling in their own right. Gnar, 100%. I haven't seen this matchup before, but I am very confident that Isuck is 100% going to outscale Corvus in the side lane, or anybody else that ends up being thrown at him by Halo Spades. So there's that. Two, Corki scales exceptionally well, very good at shredding front lines, very good at shredding tanks, like Yunjia, like Pogs, like Corvus, and like you said, Black is going to be so good at zoning Alaphorus and Pogs out of fights, keeping them behind early. I think all of Halo Spade's eggs are in the Aphelios basket, like you said, and I don't think that is a very reliable basket to put your eggs in, so I think Sand Ninjas, I think they have the better draft.
The champion does a ton of damage in Phelios, right? But it is always hard to put your eggs in the basket of one champion and just tell them to carry the entire game, because it's very hard to 1v5 on really just any AD carry. Even any one champion, it's so easy to just get shut down, misplay a little bit, you kind of die, and then your team just falls apart. So have to watch how much damage Alaphorus can put out. That being said, we're going to throw it to the last break of the day as we load into game number 3 here. We will be back with the rubber match in just a few. Welcome back, everyone. We're on to the Rift for game number 3 here between Hail of Spades and Sand Ninjas, playing for a spot in the grand finals of the Ionian group here in Style Esports Season 3. Winner of this will play the winner of Imperial Knights Blue and the Syndicate game coming up tomorrow for a chance to become the champion of Ionia and play for a spot in Shurima next season. Bringing you this rubber match, I'm your Carl, alongside Baymax. We got more level 1 action, sir.
Oh my god, this Galio skin is the best. I love it. I don't even know what skin that is, but it looks so cool. Corvus, Infernal, I have been told. Ooh, Dredge line on this Giant Panda, but no follow-up. A little bit of a love tap there. Both supports just trading a little bit of damage, getting a nice little spell piece proc onto Sleepy Giant Panda. You are 100% right, Carl. Guys, this is the semifinals. Sand Ninjas and Hail of Spades. One of them is about to go home. Keep in mind, this is 2nd seed versus 3rd seed, right? Hail of Spades is the 3rd seed, but the last time these teams met, it was Hail of Spades that 2-0'd Sand Ninjas, who are seated above them in that 2nd seed spot. So, both these teams definitely trying to prove something here. We talked about the drafts a ton in Champ Select. I said that I liked Sand Ninja's draft, but also I think it's harder to execute. Hail of Spades definitely have clear ways to pick fights, right? Between the Dredge line and a Cataclysm and a Hero's Entrance, the Thunderdome combo, right? Hail of Spades, they have the tools to make these picks, make these fights come through. Let's see if they can make it happen. This should be a very fun game. Both games so far have been like stumps, right? So these teams, they're gonna come swinging.
We have seen that lane swap that we hinted at in Champ Select come through. It's going to be Karma in the top lane, Corvus's Galio in the mid lane up against Hitter Up. So Gnar probably going to have a little bit more trouble up against Nico than he would against Corvus. But I still think this should be a pretty good lane for the Gnar. And Corvus, of course, with a better matchup into Hitter Up, magic damage tank. Galio, of course, will do well against that magic damage user in Corki. And we're going to see a level 2 spike in the bot lane, potentially not quite going to come through, so nothing comes of that one for now as Nico's up here against this little Gnar.
And oh my god, it's so fantastic that Corvus and Nico lane swapped. Galio top lane was not the play. We talked about it. It would not have worked out. I'll hold the thought because bot lane, we got Ionia up, potentially looking for a gank, but gonna get spotted out on a ward, sweep that one away, so Sand Ninjas might think twice about stepping up next time, and in fact, Ionia may be looking for a repeat gank here. No vision right now in the river for Sleepy Giant Panda and Black. They could end up falling, but for now, Ionia just sort of wasting a little bit of time here.
Yeah, both the flashes are available. Cyclops in the area, but is quite low, so unlikely to be helping out too much. He might actually get soloed out. Might have to smite that. Yeah, there it goes. 1-0 against the buffs in the jungle. Got to be making sure you're coming out on top against those. Very important. Bot lane surviving for now. Black just throwing in some poke. Has the corrupting pot and the biscuits as well to keep his mana topped off. I would expect those to be chugged at least quite soon. He is getting a little bit low on mana there. This Poke Varus sustained. Very important as Isock's taking a lot of damage in the top lane. Has to hop himself away. Gonna be able to get away, but taking a lot of punishment. Meanwhile, Flash in the bot lane. Fog's going in. Bubble gonna miss. Black now trying to get himself out of this one. Redline going to land onto this Nami. She's gonna be going down very soon. Yes, she does. There's first blood in favor of the Aphelios. Ionia trying to get himself out. Dodges the sun. That is coming in from Cyclops, who's now going very low himself. Elaphrus now very safe as well. Level 3 has the Gravitum if he does have that Q back available. There's the root. Fog with one more auto attack isn't going to be able to use it, but the EQ going to come through as well. Cyclops going to go down. Elaphrus picking up another kill. It's 3-0 for the bot lane. They're fighting back, Baymax.
Hail of Spades! That fight was so clean. There's a lot of good things that happened there. This from the sidestep that Elaphrus had on Cyclops' E to Pogs with walking forward for the Dredge line. Okay, so much of what happened there was awesome. I wish we had a replay we could watch back. We can't do that because we're not LCS, unfortunately. But you know what? That was a really nice fight to see. If you're in Twitch, so you might want to clip it. It was cool. Well played from Elaphrus, Pogs, and Ionia. I cannot... that was impressive. And importantly, right, I'll stop rambling about that. Importantly, Hail of Spades, now they're going to have the bot lane with the lead. 2 kills onto Elaphrus. This is a scaling carry. We talked about having all the eggs in the Aphelios basket. Well, guess what? That basket... doing just fine right now. 2-0 on Elaphrus means that Hail of Spades, they are positioned very well, exactly where they want to be in this game. Likely going to have pressure, have damage to potentially pick a fight over that dragon as well, especially as Ionia and Corvus start to hit level 6. Hail of Spades, they are really starting to potentially set the stage for them to open up the map.
Aphelios with the BF this early is just so scary because if there's ever an engage, he just does so much damage. Might have to hold that thought actually in the mid lane. As
he's
Cyclops
on a
has
ward.
arrived. He's going to be fine, though. Hatching that ward, just like those eggs might be hatching in Laphras's basket with all those eggs. I will stop with the puns right now. Yunjia now in the bot lane. Nice wave being picked in. He might actually find the engage on the Sleep Giant Panda teleport as well. They are pulling the trigger straight away on this one. Missed EQ, flash away from Black, and that fight fizzles out as fast as it started, but the flash blown from the AD carry.
Black, who still had his flash from last fight, now is not going to have it. And guess what? Corvus teleported to the boss side. He doesn't have level 6, but he doesn't need it. Dragon started the Black and the Sleeper Giant Panda, forced out of lane, forced out of pressure, hit her up, no mana mid lane, no teleport, has cleanse for safety rather than teleport for that control, for that lane dominance. And so first Dragon of the game, 5.5 minutes, gets started, goes over to Hail of Spades. They are well on their way to peaking around that 25-minute mark, around the time Alaphras might have his second or maybe even third item if he gets that far ahead. I think Hail of Spades are in a fantastic position right now.
We've seen throughout this series that whoever gets those dragons really has been coming out on top in both these games, and partially that is just because both the games have been, relatively stompy, and so they're getting the dragons just because they are so far ahead. But dragons are just so important in competitive League of Legends. They provide you with so much pressure to be able to push your lead if you do have it. Sleepy Giant Panda might actually get hooked here. We are going to see another fight. There's another teleport coming through. Hero's entrance as well. This is a 5-man bot lane play. Nico has arrived as well, going in on Cyclops. He tries to heal himself up, but he's going to be falling. That's a kill picked up for the top lane. Karma, Isaac didn't have his teleport, couldn't follow, loses his teammate.
The macro play from Hail of Spades, Corvus and Nico across the map all the time without even using the hero's entrance. And I want to explain what set the stage for that last fight that just happened. You mentioned it. Isaac not having teleport. Nico has been dominating that top lane on this Karma pick. It's not showing itself in a CS differential right now because Isaac managed to crash a wave or two into Nico's turret off of that roam, off of that TP play. But Isaac has been stuck under his turret, had to use that TP early, has been poked down. Now Pog's looking for another pick. Sleepy Giant Panda stayed way too long. He's gonna die if he can't sidestep the Flagon Drake.
Black just to kind of abandon his support here. Obviously the right play, has to get himself out, save his own skin, but Sleepy Giant Panda gonna pay the price. Yunjia picks up that kill, 5-0 now, up for the Hail of Spades. Black gets out, support, got a recall earlier, gonna find himself in the death chamber.
Got a recall earlier, although to Sleepy's credit, I bet the Sand Ninjas did not expect Yunjia to still be hanging around boss side with that Herald spawning, but you want to play around your strong side of the map, right? Where Alaphras are, where Corvus are, that's where Yunjia wants to be. And look at the aggression here, moving forward into Cyclops' jungle, taking his blue buff away, trying to pick a fight as well. Cyclops still level 5.
Hail of Spades is so deep in the jungle. Corvus realizing maybe a little bit too deep, has to flash himself out. So that summoner has been used. No teleports available from the top laners. That was a 4v4 all day long. Corvus decides, doesn't want to take it. Bot lane's not level 6, or maybe they could have taken that fight, but backs out and has to use that summoner to keep himself safe.
Corvus got the blue though. He did get the blue buff, which is worth it in my book. Definitely love getting your hands on the enemy jungler's blue buff, especially when the jungler is a Silas. That one's gotta feel pretty good. Cyclops, falling a little bit behind. Corvus doing pretty well for himself. Gonna be finishing a proto belt relatively soon. I'm a little surprised that we didn't maybe see a lane swap coming up towards the top side of the map from Alaphras, from Pogs. Maybe pick a fight over this Herald. Try to extend the lead they have over the rest of the map. But for now, we might just see another gank bot lane. Yunjia waiting in that bush.
Yunjia is waiting around, has Cataclysm available as well. Moonlight Vigil at the same time is also up, so this could be quite the wombo combo. Gravitum available, so there's a lot of pick potential here. Pogs goes to the dredge line, left a little bit to be desired on that one, a little bit out of range. Unfortunately, Gravitum going to expire here, so we're moving on to some Chakram, and a bit of Flamethrower is still left for that gank. Gonna not materialize. I think Package also picked up now for Corki.
So Yunjia did have flash, Black did not. I think that he should have went for that, invested the flash, and got the kill. Maybe not. You can argue against that because then he's spending a lot of time and a lot of resources bot lane, and Cyclops is likely to trade that Herald away. So maybe not worth it. But then if that's your argument, then why are you looking to gank anyway? Just go top lane, right? So, maybe not the best play there from Yunjia, but he wasn't on a ward, no harm, no foul. And now a nice play mid lane. Corvus catching Hitter Up on a roam, forces the package. Hitter Up not going to be able to use that package to influence the team fight. He was forced to use it to run away from Corvus. So that is pretty substantial as well, and it's freeing up Yunjia to start up this Herald. Top lane though, Nico trading heavily with Isaac.
Trading with Isaac, ultimates have been used by both sides. That ultimate not quite able to get Nico into the wall, so not quite what Isaac would have been hoping for here, as another ultimate W has been expended there by the Karma, and Isaac gonna go very low, has to use the flash, but I think he's gonna die. Oh, he might get away. Can he throw the boomerang? Misses the boomerang, the flash Q. Nico gonna pick up the kill onto Isaac. What a great play.
Not only picking up the kill, but Herald going over as well. And not only the kill and the Herald going over, but guess what? Cyclops is on the top side of the map, which means that even though right now Black and Sleepy Giant Panda do have pressure because the Lapras recalled, Cyclops cannot punish that Herald take or that gank top lane by taking Dragon, because he's got mid lane pressure, he's got bot lane pressure, but he's not there. So again, Halo Spades just one step ahead as far as the macro goes.
Yeah, not what they were hoping for in terms of macro, and lose the Herald, lose your top laner. It was all going so well for them, and well, not really that well for them, but you know, they looked like they were stabilizing just a little bit in this game, and maybe not quite going to be able to do so. Dragon up in 10 seconds. Hitter Up would not have had the package available for the Dragon at any rate. Even if he hadn't had to expend that, it's only a minute that's up, so not a huge loss there, but will not have that, of course, for the Dragon. Does have the mana being completed, though, is pretty strong on this Corki, but, you know, nowhere near where he will be in a couple of minutes, and he might also be getting ganked right now. Might have to use the Valkyrie to get himself away from the Galio. There it is. Like you targeted the Flash Dredge line. Yeah, he's going to be okay, but he has to use the Flash, so not what he was hoping for there, and he is low mana as well.
And now, guess who's got pressure bot lane now? It is Alaphorus, the BF Sword Pickaxe of Helios, stepping forward to start up this Dragon for Halo Spades, second Dragon of the game. And Black and Sleepy Giant Panda Hitter Up are sort of hanging out nearby, but they have no hope of contesting this one. Second Dragon gonna easily go over in favor of Halo Spades without even having to invest anything else. And look at the wraparound happening here. Black is in grave danger of being dove.
Chain of Corruption is available. There's the Herald going to be spawned. Sleepy Giant Panda going to go down in a blink of an eye. Blink and he missed it on this one. Corvus has picked up that kill. There is the depth charger under the tower. It's just a matter of time now. 4 versus 1. Fighting guns for Lapras as well. Has the chakram, has the pistol. There's the teleport. I think the teleport's just going to be a little bit too late. He might just be killing himself under the tower. It's 4 versus 1. Isaac's arrived, but what's he going to do? There's a nice dredge line onto him as well. Could be taking some damage. The chakram are going to be stacked up. Can he get him off? Lapras doing so much damage. One more auto deck would bring this kill. It's a messy tower dive. There's the Moonlight Vigil. Lapras on a killing streak, and I picked that one up. He has survived. He has so many chakra mid-X. This tower is going down in the blink of an eye.
Worth of Lapras. So strong, so many turret plates, but Hitter Up might be looking for a re-engage here. Got the Valkyrie available, not quite in range to look for anything though. Yunjia and Pogs so very low, but Lapras so very healthy right there to walk his support and jungler out of danger, out of harm's way. Meanwhile, top lane, Nico sitting on the teleport, doesn't opt to use it, is instead pushing more and more minions into this turret. Not getting too many plates, maybe might pick up 2 in total, but that's a lot of waves that Isaac is not picking up. Now teleport bot lane, Lapras getting dove.
Lapras just gonna die under the tower. Double teleports though. Nico has arrived on the scene. There's the Super Soaker. Hitter Up gonna be going down very low, taken out of this one. Sleepy Giant Panda soon to fall as well, and they get the tower dive on the aided carry, but they lose their mid laner and the support.
I think that might actually be worth it. Lapras did hold on to Flash, which I like the discipline there. Him having Flash is so vitally important in any team fight over an objective. Ooh, Black now might be the one finding himself in trouble. 80 carries potentially trading lives across the rift here. Black's got nowhere to run except further into Halo Spades' jungle, right into the arms of Pogs.
He just kind of walked around him. Very well played by Black. Still has his flash too, so I think he's actually going to live from this one. Very well played. Actually, oh, gets slowed, but he is going to survive, and well played by Black, just walking in a circle, ring around the Rosie, able to get himself out.
Well played by Black, but Yunjia and Corvus, why are you guys walking the same way? Come on, you gotta know that can happen. A little bit of a pathing mistake there from Yunjia and Corvus, but well played by Black to get himself out of harm's way. Still did burn the flash though. Still did end up using his flash, which again means that he is going to be that much less safe for the next fight that happens. And Cyclops, I think he had a little bit of a connection issue there.
Yeah, I think he DC'd. Not quite what you like to see. Has a lot of ping the whole game, we're hearing in the chat. So that's definitely unfortunate for Sand. Just has been on a lot of ping this game. And it's pretty unfortunate for them. But we do have to move on from that one. He's back alive, but hope to see him back in action soon, as push in the mid lane might be coming through for the Halo Spades. No Herald available. That's respawning in a couple of minutes, but they could just run it down with some manpower. Yunji threatening in the mid.
Well, I think this is the part of the game where a lot of teams struggle, a lot of teams falter. They start to feel like they are ahead. They should be making things happen, and they can't, and that something's wrong. They have to force. That is not the case, right? We are a bit of a lull state. There's no dragons up. There's no heralds up for a while. These turrets are pretty hard to break down when a team has good wave clear, like from a Corki and from a Varus. So, Halo Spades, they are strong. They don't want to try to force things too hard. They are totally fine to just keep controlling the map, keep slowly creeping away at those outer turret health bars, mid and top lane, and just keep pressure for Dragon, for Herald, because eventually those objectives are going to spawn. We're looking at about a minute and a half on Dragon, about a minute and a half on Herald as well. Just, this is the part of the game where you just got to be careful not to overextend too much, right? Don't get too complacent with your leads. Don't get too greedy, or don't get too lazy. We've seen that happen a couple times these last couple games where the teams that were ahead ended up throwing some fights, honestly, just for greedy, lazy reasons. So I like the fact that Halo Spades playing a little bit reserved. Although I suck taking away this top lane turret, that probably didn't have to go down. But, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I don't think it makes too much of a difference in the end, but of course you do want to be disciplined and make sure that you still can pick up the win in a rapid fashion. Make sure you're not giving away too much random gold, random kills. Make sure you secure this third dragon of the game against a lagging jungler who's only level 7. It should be all that much easier for them, and I think they just need to kind of go together as a team and make sure that Elafris is not getting caught out, and they should be good to go in these fights. They are quite strong at this point, so I think it's really just a matter of closing out the game at this point, even though it's only 15 minutes in.
Yeah, there's sort of a tightrope to walk, right? Like, you don't want to play too slow, but you don't want to play too fast. You got to find that right balance, and typically that balance can be found in playing around those objective timers. So, as you can see, Halo Spades hopping right on top of this Infernal Dragon, yes. Hopping right on top of this Infernal Dragon, getting their sort of train towards Infernal Soul rolling. Might see a contest coming through from Sandages, but they are too late.
Nico doesn't have teleport, so this would be a 4 versus 4 fight if they decide to take it, but looks like they're just not willing to fight at this point. And honestly, if they're not going to fight now, when are they going to fight? Cyclops is only going to fall further behind.
They got one more.
Nico didn't have teleport. I think that's the prime opportunity. Not sure you're going to even be able to get a 4v4, for the rest of this game. So decide not to fight could be a mistake, although they are just so far behind at this point. They're going to go with the engage, maybe. Corva's going to get Chain of Corruption here. This could be the throw we were talking about. There's the shutdown going down onto Galio. Pogs trying to save his mid lane are not going to work out. There's the Moonlight Vigil, goes across. Black and Blue Giant Panic going to get rooted up as Yuji are going to be going in. Black going very low, gets healed up, but he cannot get out of this Cataclysm. One more auto is going to take him out. Yunjia now on a killing spree as Nico has arrived as well. It's 3 versus 3. Silas is in base. Black is dead. Corvus and Elafris down there. There's not a lot of damage. There is the engage coming through from Isaac. A nice flash over the wall from Nico to buy a little bit of time. Yunjia as well going to have to use the EQ to get himself to safety. The chase coming through now for the Sand and just seeing if they can pick up any more kills. Hitter up now, running forward at Nico. Isaac as well. They are just taken by some sort of just a lot of anger at this point. They want to fight back, but they can't do it. Yunjia picking up the kill onto Isaac, stepping a little bit too far forward.
I would say still net gain, probably in favor of Sand Ninjas. And I also want to point out, Elafris. I'm just realizing this now, but he's only got 104 CS. He died in that fight, gave up some shutdown gold as well. He's actually not that strong. When you look at gold values on 80 carries, he is only ahead of Black by 100 gold, despite such a strong, commanding early game lead of the lane. That is not ideal, right? This Aphelios, I would say at this point in the game, he should have at least 160 CS. At least 140 CS. He should be, not even. He should be at 160. He should be ahead of Black. They had lane dominance. They had pressure across the map. And he's got to be the one that's being funneled this gold. He's got to find ways to find that gold, find that experience. So it's a little concerning that he doesn't have it. That being said, is it going to matter? Halo Spades are still pretty far ahead. They did throw away a little bit of gold in that last fight. Got a little bit too greedy, but they traded some back as well. And they are going to pick up this Herald at the end of the day, keep their objective ticket punched in a little bit here. So probably not going to end up mattering. We'll see where they can drop this Herald. Looks like mid lane to finally break open this outer mid lane turret. A little bit of flank from Isaac, though. He's close to Meganar. This could be big.
Black not in the area, though. There's no AD carry here for Sand Ninjas. What are they going to be able to do? Corvus now spotting out Isaac. They know that he is there. Lapras could find himself in some trouble. But the taunt comes through. Isaac now the focus target. He's going to have to try to get himself out, but I'm not too sure he's going to be able to. Sleep Giant Meta has arrived on the scene to try to help in his top laner, but there's nothing they can do. He just falls, and that's another kill in favor of the Hail of Spades, and they just can continue their push in the mid.
Now Ionia unstoppable in this turret. It's hanging on for dear life, but only just barely. One auto attack will do it. Alapharis picking up that one. And the Hail of Spades meat grinder keeps on keeping on. Sand Ninjas, they lose another turret. They lose another life. And Baron spawning on the map. Next Dragon in play in a minute and a half as well. And like you said, Sand Ninjas, they've got to pick a fight. They've got to find a hill to die on. And it's got to be soon. Infernal Soul, Baron, big objectives in contention in the next couple of minutes. This could be Sand Ninja's last chance to turn it around and win this series.
I think you have to fight over the soul. You cannot let the Infernal Soul go over. You know, they haven't really, been standing for anything. They're not falling for anything in this game. They're just kind of letting themselves get beaten down. And they need to fight at some point. And Trinity Force is on Hit Her Up. You got to do it over this Dragon, I think. I think you just force a fight. You hope it works out. It likely will not. But at some point, you just have to find a hill to die on, like you were saying. And I think this Dragon is that place.
Well, we'll see. If you can't contest it, you can't contest it. It's better to not than to do it and lose the game. But like you said, Infernal Dragon Soul very, very strong, and it's definitely not ideal to give it away. I would say when a team picks up that Infernal Dragon Soul, it probably increases their chances of winning by a solid 10 to 15% just because of that by itself, aside from any other reason. So definitely don't want to give it away. Isaac now in the bot lane trying to keep pressure for his team, but this is the guy that has teleport. I think maybe a little bit of a macro mistake. Isaac should probably be top lane answering that wave so that he can be there for the TP flank for his team and so that Sand Ninjas are not just losing out on these minions.
Sand Ninjas just without position on the Dragon too. This area completely controlled by Hail of Spades. I would, it doesn't look like this is going to be a contest. It looks like the Soul's probably going to just go over to Hail of Spades without a whole lot of a fight.
Well. Cyclops is AFK as well, and looks like having some connection issues still. Yeah, honestly, hate to see it. Level 7 on this Silos, so far behind. 0-3 and 0, hasn't participated in much for a long time, struggling with some lag issues. Not gonna be what Sand Ninjas are looking for here, but you know what? Hail of Spades have found what they're looking for, and that is the Infernal Dragon Soul.
That has been picked up by Hail of Spades, and I think just a formality at this point. They'll probably walk toward the Baron. Maybe a steal on the Baron coming through. Miracle steal, a big one from Hit Her Up. Maybe taking the Baron away could get him back in the game, but it just doesn't, at this point, there's not a ton of use at sugarcoating it. They are in a whole pile of trouble right now. Resets coming through for Hail of Spades. I would expect to see the Baron being started up shortly here, or they'll just force a fight in the mid lane. I think either option is fine. It is 5 versus 4 for them at this point, and they have the Soul, so I don't really think they need the Baron to close out the game, but the buffs on the minions definitely do help, at least for just pushing and trying to end in a more uniform way.
I do want to praise Sand Ninjas for, despite it being basically a 5v4, Cyclops is here, but only in spirit, basically. Hit Her Up and Black have done a phenomenal job of staying on power curve, of farming up, of catching those waves, of cementing CS leads for themselves. 200 CS now on Black. You would not think that was a lane that lost. Mid lane as well.
They're both ahead.
177 CS, 30 CS gold lead for him mid lane. And now Hail of Spades, they're actually starting up this Baron, but it's only Corvus and Yugia for now. No vision control in the area, though. Sand Ninjas with no jungler and no control, they cannot really contest this. And finally, Alapharis hitting that Baron. It is melting now.
They also can't really steal it without the jungler really being there, so that's just going to go over in favor of Hail of Spades. The fight not really coming to fruition. We'll see Yunjia healing up. We did go a little bit low, but I think that's going to kind of be all she wrote. Nico now running away in the top lane. He might actually be going down. Has to shield himself. A little bit of a heal coming through. Super Soaker as well. The flash having to be expended. Isaac might still be on the chase. There's the flash from him. Can he get himself a kill here in the bot lane? Nico will have the ultimate available. There's just so much healing from him. Gets away from the stun. There's the ultimate from Corvus. This is so unfortunate for Isaac. He tried his heart out, but he could not pick up the kill at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think the Frozen Mallet catching Nico a little bit off guard. Frozen Mallet completed for Isaac means that he is very difficult to run away from, right? Every single auto attack slowing for 20% for 1.5 seconds. That'll help out a lot if you're a Gnar trying to run somebody down, but not quite enough. Like you said, Corvus coming in with the hero's entrance, saving the day for Nico, and I think he might have even gotten out anyway off of that nice tether stun. So regardless, Hail of Spades in a very strong spot, right? Picked up the Baron, picked up that kill bot lane. They are ready to rock. They are ready to roll. The carries from Sand Eaters are still pretty strong, but again, it just feels so bad because Cyclops is basically not here trying to fix his internet issues and not with us. It's essentially a 4v5. So even though Sand Eaters, they're trying to hang in there, they're trying to hold on, it's not really likely to do anything for him.
Hail of Spades going for the 1-3-1. Corvus just got one shot by hit her up. So this Corki does a lot of damage. Like you were just saying, the 1-3-1 quickly became a 1-3-0. Corvus just he took his whole health bar in like 2 seconds.
Hit her up did use flash though, which is potentially going to be important in one of these fights. Ooh, here we go, another one.
Chain of Corruption coming down. There's a nice depth charge to buy a little bit more space. This is a 4v3. However, there's the engage coming through. Teleport is going to be joining. Nico will be here very shortly. Isaac has been taken down by Alafras, just shredding through him. Sleepy Giant Panda throws himself a heal to keep himself alive. He's going to be able to escape. At the end of the day, this fight is a 1-for-1. Not, the end of the game for Sand Ninjas, as may have been feared, but still not really the big comeback fight that they need.
Yeah, but they're hanging in and hit her up. Sleepy Giant Panda, they were very, very low, but they were alive. If you've got 5 HP left, that's 4 more than you need. Nico not quite having the DPS to find those kills off that teleport. Now package for the re-engage. Nico is probably just going to go down here. Carl, imagine if Sand Ninjas end up winning a 4 versus 5 when they're down in Infernal Soul. It doesn't seem real likely, but hit her up and Black are ahead right now, like you mentioned, ahead of the gold curve, farming well, picking up shutdown kills. Anything is possible.
This Corki does a lot of damage. We definitely cannot understate that enough. He is 400 gold away from being the richest person in this game. Hitter Up is. So he is the carry potential here. If the Elder Dragon can somehow go in favor of the Sand Ninjas, I will start to believe a little bit. But it has to be the Elder Dragon going over. Otherwise, the game, I think, will just end off of that Elder Dragon. The buff's too strong to really fight against. I think the damage will just be too high for Hail of Spades. So that really is the actual hill to die on if you are the Sand Ninjas, I think. I don't think there's any world where you can give up an Elder Dragon and still win this game.
Well, we'll see. Elder Dragon is short, right? It only lasts, what, 2 minutes on that buff? All it takes is one crucial mistake from Hail of Spades, one botched team fight where someone makes a disastrous play, and it can definitely happen, right? One instance of someone being a little bit too over-aggressive, and it can mean that the entire Elder buff goes to waste. That being said, if Hail of Spades play everything properly and don't botch it, don't screw up the team fight, Alafras doesn't get caught, none of that terrible stuff happens, then I agree with you, but I have seen Elder Dragons be thrown away way too often.
3 items completed now for both carries, actually, which is more than the Hail of Spades players can say, right? I mean, Corvus and Alafras are with, unequivocally behind Hitter Up and Black. It's just the top side of the map, the top lane and jungler combo. Nico and Yunji are just so far ahead of Isaac and Cyclops, who is, of course, not here, that really just makes up the gold difference. But if you just look at the bottom side of the map, bottom 3 players, like, the Sand Ninjas are well ahead in this game. And this Corki and this Varus do a ton of damage so far. So this definitely is still winnable. It's just so hard being down a person.
Although, Dragon is spawning in 5 seconds, and guess what? Isaac just transformed and used that transformation. So he is not going to have Mega Knight for this Elder Dragon, which means Sand Ninjas are going to have to give this away. They have no team fighting, so they are going to just look to turtle and hope to God that I guess Hail of Spades screw up, or maybe can only take an inhibitor. All inhibitor turrets still standing, right? Sand Ninjas haven't actually had their base really broken into yet. So maybe that bodes well. Hail of Spades having a tough time actually laying siege, actually fighting their way into this base. And Elder Dragon, like we keep saying, doesn't last very long. Let's see if Hail of Spades can get something done with it. Right now, Corvus setting up this bot lane wave for an engage.
Pushing the bot lane. No Baron buff, however, so a little bit easier to clear out those minions as Black has arrived on the scene. This is just going to be a straight tower dive. Yunji going straight in. Alafras has just eviscerated Sleepy Giant Panda from the map. This fight going all Hail of Spades all the time. Cyclops, he's back, but only just. He's going to be taken out. It's just a whitewash here as Hitter Up is saying, where's my team? 4-0 in this fight. Hail of Spades looks to end the game.
Halo Spades looking to end the game. It's only hitter up standing in their way. I gotta be honest, it probably doesn't feel the best because it is a 4 versus 5, but you know what? That's still a semifinals win. In Halo Spades, they put in the work. They had a strong early game. They had a strong first game of the series. No, I'm definitely not going to try to take this away from them. They fought hard, and they did earn it. It was a good series. It was a good look, and you know what? They are going to be moving on to the finals versus whoever ends up getting it.
Halo Spades advanced 2-1 over the Sand Ninjas. They face the winner of the Imperial Knights Blue and the Syndicate, the other semifinal, for that championship match in Ionia. Congratulations to the Halo Spades. Bit of a weird game with those connection issues for Cyclops. Very unfortunate to see that coming through, but like you said, not to take anything away from Halo Spades. They played a very good series. You know, a little bit of a misstep in the second game, but they pulled it back together in game number 3, and they took the game.
Yeah, they did it. They really did do it. And that's it for the semifinals tonight, right? Okay. Honestly, that feels kind of bad, right? That feels kind of bad. It was a really hype first couple of games. Halo Spades hit hard, hit fast right out the gate. Sand Ninjas hit harder right back, and then we get a game 3 where unfortunately one of the players had really serious connection issues. So that feels bad. I feel for you guys in the chat who are unfortunate about that, but at the end of the day, a win is a win. So like you said, congratulations to Halo Spades. I think they did earn the win. And I cannot wait to see what they can end up doing in the finals. Like you said, looking forward to the Imperial Knights versus Syndicate matchup because I'm not sure exactly when it's going to be played, if that one has been scheduled yet, but that's first seed versus fourth seed. If Syndicate can somehow find a way to eke a win out in that series, then that means that we would have the 2 underdogs basically going into the semifinals be the ones that make the finals, and that would be cool. I don't know about you guys, but I always do enjoy watching underdogs go at it. That's just me though, but I don't know. It got. Do you want to break anything else down here? I got a little bit more I want to say about the stream tomorrow night, but I don't know. I'll leave it to you to do a champ select breakdown. I think I said what I want to say. Oh, I take it back. Okay. I do want to give credit. Sorry, I do want to give credit to, especially I feel like Nico and Yunjia had a really solid third game, and Pogs as well. All 3 of those guys. I think they had a very solid third game. So I'll give credit there.
Do you agree? I was just going to mention the stream tomorrow, but I can talk about some champions for a little while.
You can do it. Go ahead.
Okay, fine. Okay, well, we can talk about the champions for a couple more seconds here, and then we can move on to plugging ourselves for tomorrow. But, I think it's hard to analyze the comp of the Sand Ninjas just because they had the Silas AFK and wasn't really able to get those ganks coming through. I think Silas, if he's on curve, if he's in those fights, I think it's still winnable for Sand Ninjas. They were so far behind even, but their carries were so strong, and a lot of the lead was just materialized on the top side because there was no jungler. For Sand Ninjas. So I think this game would have gone differently, at least, had Cyclops been here. I don't know if the result would have been different. That's always hard to say. But I like the Aphelios Nautilus. I think it's a really strong lane in the bot lane. We saw them getting advantages early. I'm not a huge fan of this Karma top still. I think, it worked out by virtue of kind of being in a solo lane and not having to worry a lot. Isoc never really able to get a whole lot done against this Karma. We saw once the Frozen Mallet came through, there was some potential, but I just don't really like this Karma Galio pick. I think, you just go for a tank in the top lane up against the Gnar, and I think the Galio mid's fine. It just seemed a little weird to me, and I think they were fortunate to get so far ahead in this game because they still didn't look super dominant until they had that Elder Dragon.
I definitely agree. In my mind, neither of these teams is clearly 100% stronger than the other, right? There's a lot of potential for either to strike back at each other, but you know what? Right now, this day, Hail of Spades, they come out on top. They beat Sand Ninjas 2-0 the last time that they met during the season, and they did it again. It wasn't a 2-0, but it was a 2-1, and that is good enough.
It's true. 2-1 is all that you do need, of course. But with that being said, that's going to do it for our semifinals coverage tonight. Tomorrow evening, we will be bringing you the game between TG Refugees and Albemarle High School. Albemarle, I can't read. Albemarle High School in the Void group. That's the 2-3 game from the Void. That will be coming to you guys live at 7:45 Eastern time. That is 4:45 Pacific time for all you out there. So we hope to see you then. That will be featuring Merlin, one of our newer casters, and Baymax. So that should be quite an exciting series. Make sure you tune in for that one. If you want more info about all things Style Esports, you can learn some of that info at the links below. We have the Discord, the website, the YouTube, and some music credits. So be sure to check those out. Always happy to chat with you all in the Discord at any time, and you'll find more updates on the schedule. when games are, who's playing, who's casting, and all that good stuff can be found at the Discord. So we hope to see you there. That being said, on behalf of myself, my colorcaster Baymax, Axman87, our illustrious host tonight, making sure the chat is entertained and that I don't say too many crazy things. We thank you all so much for watching. We will see you tomorrow night. Good night.